All right, we are live. Welcome to All Politics are Local, America's number one political streaming show. We are here tonight. It's myself, also my co-host, co-producer Zaid Muhammad. Special shout out to Ed Riley, and the we have a packed show, and also special shout out to Donna Williams and all the other co-hosts on All Politics Are Local. We've got a packed, wonderful show tonight. It's actually really packed, right, Zaid? We got
Yeah,
someone on every half hour. We had to put on a half an hour
yeah.
thing. So we've got at 6 p.m. we have Naseed Gifted, the Afro-Futurist and thought leader. He talks about Khem Fest 2025, Afro-Futurism on the rise. Khem Fest weekend is September 25th to the 27th to 25. And we have the Chem Ball that is also coming up. So Naseed Gift.
Wakanda ball. He froze, Jonathan. He's got and he is in a very restful, warm place as he tries to unfreeze. Uh, and he just acknowledged our first guest, and who's also trying to get in. And I hope it's not my connect that's having all these problems. Let's not say gifted, one of our gifted teachers, an Afro-Futurist and architect of Khem Fest. Khem Fest weekend is coming up. Behind that, we'll have Alia Berry, who wears many hats in our Newark community-based violence intervention ecosystem as a social worker, but really about a project that she recently developed called the Village Revival Project, and some events and cohorts that she has coming up. Behind her, another healer, very important to the Newark ecosystem, is none other than Dr. Monique Swift Muhammad, who was just named the new president of the Association of Black Psychologists, among other important hats that she has worn over the years on her walk in that lane. We've got some other guests behind that. I don't have the running show in front of me, but I know we've got some other guests behind it. And of course, we'll have we'll end the show with our hip hop roundup with none other than DJ Rhino, who we've missed for the last few weeks. Lots going on. Lots going on. Our founding producer is come, Ed Riley.
Peace,
Try to give the run of the show.
yeah.
Naseed was trying to get on. Jonathan was on and he got knocked off.
And
Back.
I'm on again. It was a conspiracy. It knocked me off. Knocked me off. All right. So Mr. Gifted is Naseed Gifted is trying to get back on. I think I was halfway through, and then I was like, "Whoa, you're not on anymore." I'm like, "What? I'm not on anymore." So yeah, so I am back.
I had you back, little brother. I had you back.
Oh, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Uh, so we have a pack show tonight. I think I was on ChemFest when I got cut off, right?
Right. And I did know Monique and Aaliyah, but that's where as far as I got. Who we got coming
Okay.
up behind that?
Well, we're coming on at 6:30. We have Newark Central High School and University High School speech teams talk
Yes.
about their national championship and an
Yes.
award-winning documentary that just won, I believe, first place for student films at the Newark Film Festival. And it's a
Wow.
conversation, and it's a serious film festival as well. So they were up against quite a few people. It's a conversation with two amazing coaches and some of their incredible students. A lot of people don't know. Like people know about. A lot of people don't know just how much talent we have in the city of Newark. And
Make
these speech teams have been great for years. Central High School, their coach Dennis Filbert has been an amazing coach for years and years, putting out incredible student after incredible student after incredible student. And we also have our a newer upcoming coach, right, head coach. He's been an assistant coach for years. But Saul Gouillon is the coach at University High School, and he's a brilliant young coach who, in his first few years, was able to get a national champion at University High School.
awesome.
I believe it was at the National High School Tournament of Champions. So these are like huge things. When we get them on, we're going to talk about just how big it is that they've accomplished what they've accomplished, and what that means nationally. So Newark has incredible speech and debate programs. We cheer each other on. They love what we do at Science Debate. We love what they do at Central and now University high schools and other schools within Newark as well. And we're going to be talking about that. At 8 o'clock, we have Diery Dumas talking about why we need to continue the fight for democracy in Haiti and remember the international work of the late Congressman Donald Payne. And that's going to be a great one coming up. And he's a frequent guest on our show, and we always appreciate having him on. And finally, we're going to have DJ Rhino and the state of hip hop as always. So Mr. Gifted is going to be joining from via his phone in a second. So we will hear from him shortly. Now, is there too much sound in my background?
We just heard the train.
Okay. But is it overwhelming or is it just... Okay. All right. So we're going to be happy to have these conversations starting at with Mr. Gifted, Naseed Gifted, as soon as he can get on, and then we'll be followed by the Central High School and University High School programs. That's going to be great. So what were you talking about before? Were you doing a little segue in terms of what's going on in the world as we wait for Mr. Gifted?
No, I just clicked on and Zaid was just finishing up the rundown. Where's that sky at, John? Where's that blue sky? Where's that
Newark.
coming from?
This is Newark. Oh. This is the Newark sky.
Oh, okay.
This is a Newark blue sky. And I don't know how long I'm going to be in this Newark blue sky because I think I just got bit by a mosquito. I didn't put any mosquito thing on, and it is the fall, so I might be eating bait. So, but it's a Newark, beautiful Newark sky. So so I just hope they don't get my head. I see you rubbing your head. I'm rubbing mine. I'm like, hopefully it won't happen. So, Mr. Riley, Mr. Muhammad. So, as we're waiting for Mr. Gifted to get on and start our conversation about Khem Fest, what's been going on in the world that you want to talk about that might be interesting? Because there's all this stuff happening. Racial profiling is constitutional. Again, before they used to have to sneak and do it. Then they were like, he looks like he's guilty. They were like, what? Why'd you stop me? You were racially profiling me. And, then we'd have to prove that in the court of law. There was actually racial profiling. New Jersey state troopers did that all the time. They were under a consent decree until very recently.
For that.
Right. It's a lie. They used to be like, no, right now, it's like, you look like you could be undocumented. Like they literally said that Latinos look like they could be undocumented. If you in Los Angeles, and now really the whole country, because the Supreme Court governs, all of the United States.
That's
if
right.
you Latino and you look like you could be undocumented, which means you Latino, right? They said the odds. One of the justices said the odds are, there are a lot of you in this area that don't have papers. So, and we just pick one of y'all out and just do that, then that's constitutional. That's crazy. That is
up
crazy.
On you with masks and guns and whatnot, and that's supposed to be normal.
Right. But we have our educator, Mr. Gifted. Right, Naseed Gifted. He is the founder of Khem Fest. He is an engineer by training. He is an educator at heart. He is a brilliant artist. He is a brilliant writer. He is a brilliant person to put things together. He has his own comic book line, right? Characters. Right. He also is producing, I believe you are into producing film now. I'm doing a lot of talking, but he is a gifted individual and an amazing educator. Welcome back to the show, Mr. Naseed Gifted. Talk to us about Khem Fest.
John, I mean, I'm sure brother can speak for himself, but I would say that at heart, he's an artist. By training, he's an educator. I think this is.
That's only because you've never seen him educate, right? Like you never seen him with the kids. This dude is like all of it, right? Like, so maybe he's
I've
at heart an
also
artist
got a
and
union that gang
educator
up on me.
because that brother can teach.
I believe that. I believe that. But I also seen all of his great. I mean, just the way he's communicating.
He's just multi-talented. That's all. He's just that's in his name. He gifted. The brother gifted. He gifted as an artist. He gifted
You see,
as an educator.
you got two brothers defending you right now, brother.
Now these teachers got a union that gang up on
I see, man.
Right.
I definitely appreciate it. I'm I gotta hire. They battling for the best hype man right now. I definitely appreciate it. But thanks for having me on. I was trying to get my earpieces in. Want to connect? Okay. 1 second. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Testing 1 2.
Okay. We hear you well.
Yeah. So. Oh, you can hear me well. Okay. Thank you. So, I definitely appreciate the time. I love being on the show and everything, and be able to talk about all of the great things that's happening and what's going on within this universe. Thank you again for having me. Naseed Gifted, man. Just excited, man. We have a lot of things going on, and talking about the future of Newark, talking about the future of our community and everything, and that's building that lane for what's to come, and working with young people each and every day. Gets me excited of what the potential future can be. Because I remember a time when, I questioned about bringing children into this world, right? Because of the social ills and everything that's going on and everything. But I do see that there is an opportunity for a bright future. And that we built a platform called Khem Fest. And Khem Fest, where we celebrate Black animation, gaming, and creators. Coming from the roots of Kemet, Kemet with Black land, and Black excellence in its essence, right? And I like the fact that we are celebrating a genre that most people don't even know people that look like us exist. And I mean, and that's kind of like where Khem Fest comes from, where I was pretty much on a journey, a self-discovery.
He was on the road, right?
We lost him. Yeah. And Jonathan, you're muted. We hope he gets back. I don't have his number. I'll text him real quick just to jump back on while we got a couple minutes left.
You muted, John.
Jonathan, you're muted. He was going into the origins of Khem Fest and our representation or lack of representation in that field, and the bountiful character of our contributions in spite of our lack of visibility and reputation. Jonathan, you're gonna jump in. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. Like I have some questions to ask him as well, because like I love when he's talking about looking at the future and what the future can bring, right? And the hope in the future. And he's back. All right. So, and we can't hear you. We can't hear you at all. we can't even hear you a little bit. Can you hear us? You're like, hey, you're saying something. It's like you're preaching, but you're not. Nothing's coming through.
Conspiracy.
All right.
There we go. There we go.
All right. Now you're here, but we can't see you.
I know.
Okay.
It's the universe, man. It's the universe. When you're about to reveal something great, the universe blocks you.
Okay. All right. So fair enough. So talk to us about Khem Fest. What is Khem Fest, and what's going on with it? I know that September 25th to the 27th, like the whole weekend Khem Fest. What is it? Give us some background.
So Khem Fest was birthed out of I feel a necessity. Just doing my journey, becoming a comic book creator and writer, traveling across the country, I saw that there was a lack of, opportunities for our Black and Browns here in the city of Newark, right? So 11 years ago, I talked to some of the elders at ECBOC, which is East Coast Black Age of Comics, and just told them, like, look, I've been going across the country. I've been doing these promotions and everything, and I don't our young people don't get an opportunity to experience this type of thing, go to a Comic-Con or anything. I didn't even know that there were so many Black comic book creators, even though it's a very small amount. But I didn't even know that there was a number of Black comic book creators until I started traveling the country, right? And with that, I said, you know what, we need to do something in the city of Newark. So we started in 2015 at Central High School, and and with the blessings of the elders, pretty much, we've been pushing ever since. And Khem Fest has just been a celebration of Black animation, gaming, and comic book creators, where we showcase their excellence in these genres that we are most of the time participants in, but not creators and innovators within this particular space. So we want to be able to flip that paradigm where we're just not consumers of these particular things, but being able to, create, showcase, and innovate. Because once we in something, we are always able to shine a light and show our excellence within those particular fields. And for me, with an engineering background, there's a ton of STEM opportunities that's within these spaces that is untapped job market that most people don't even know about. But once again, when you think about the video game industry is a $200 billion industry, right?
Oh, God.
Yeah, $200 billion. And when you think about from an artistry standpoint, you got music, you got uh, programmers, you got all of these different facets within this one video game. You have artists nowadays who go platinum by the number of video game sales. But a lot of people don't even know that. So like if you play a game like Grand Theft Auto or something like that, and then the radio station that you tune into, they contract those artists to be able to, produce this thing, and to produce this music for this and the soundtracks and the score and all of that stuff for that. That's someone's job. But we don't know that we can even get into that because we haven't been educated in the fact that this is an actual opportunity, right? It's actually easier to, produce for a video game than to actually go platinum, as an artist coming out. You know what I'm saying? You just got to get on the right project and just be able to tap into, but those are things that we explore at Khem Fest, where you are actually you are interacting with the now generation to be able to build that next generation of creators and innovators. And that's where Khem Fest comes in. And we built a 3-day event that we're super excited about, touching on different audiences, but all coming together as the village that looks to raise a child in the community.
It's interesting because I used to think that ChemFest was just artists getting together to showcase their work. And you had this ball. The ball is also is the
Yes.
ball during ChemFest as well, and it culminates
Yeah. So
in this fall. But it's also a
yes.
networking event.
Yes, it is. So for people who are interested, so like we have an Xbox recruiter who's going to be coming in reviewing people's portfolios. So if you want to get into the gaming industry and you don't know the insights or how to even get started, or you've been doing some coursework and everything, and you wanted someone to actually, we're going to have someone from Xbox who's going to review portfolios, review resumes and everything, and give you insight on how you could be able to get started. We're not hiring at the event, but that alone gives you a leg up on everyone else that's looking to get into this particular industry, right? We're doing a game development at NJIT on the 25th, where we got a game jam, where we center in it for high school students. We also have the Wakanda Ball, where you dress up.
I wanted to do that. Yeah. Yes. I wanted to jump in the lane of the models, but I have the domestic violence march in New York City the same day. So I miss y'all this year. Go ahead.
Oh man, yeah. Yep. So we had that. We actually have the Futurist Black fashion show that's a part of the Wakanda Ball. And then Saturday is the expo. So the expo, we're going to have a number of panels. We have the STEAM. We have the actual STEAM expo where you learn about 3D printing, game design,
making vibranium slime. You know, like we're gonna have vibranium slime, so you're gonna be actually creating slime. You know, chemical creation. A number of experts are going to be coming out just to share their knowledge and information, and then we actually have a huge marketplace. Oh, and I'm sorry, we actually have the Khem Animation Film Festival where we have 27 films from 15 countries across the African diaspora.
27 films.
Wow. Short films, of course.
I mean, they gotta be short. Y'all doing that in the day.
Yeah. So,
and do you want to highlight any of those films?
Well, yeah, we're definitely highlighting all of the films, but we want people to be able to not only see the films but experience, you know, the different avenues that come along with this. I mean, I have a whole long list of things that I want to kind of touch on, you know, especially with the film. We're actually showcasing our animated film, you know, from the graphic novel series PD Soldier, which is Blacklisted. So Blacklisted will be premiering at Khem Fest this year, which stars Tobias. Tobias. We also have
Nice.
Bussy. Yeah, yep. Tobias is in it. He's actually playing the role of PD Soldier. Davion Bussy.
You know, you kind of buried the lead with that. You got a
Yeah.
bona fide, you know, television movie star inside of your
And he is
right.
getting his
All-
work, getting
all,
Right.
all a part of the Black Star universe, man. You know, we creating the Black Star universe with this. But yeah, Tobias lent his talents to this particular project. But this is only the beginning. You know, like this is a proof of concept just to show people what we can do. And if we actually had a real budget, you know, like, you know, how far we can actually go with this thing.
Okay, right. So, you know,
Yeah.
if you ever need a voice, right? Ever need a voice of a villain, right? Let me
Uh,
know. I do voices. I do
oh
voices.
yeah. Hey, shoot,
I need to get back in acting shape.
yeah, both of you guys. Shoot, I'm talking about villains, ancestors, everything, man. Because you know, we go we go from the future to the past to the present, you know, and everything with the
I'm,
storyline.
I'm
So
just saying.
we definitely tap
Behold,
into
the only thing greater than yourself. I mean, I got voices, man.
That was
John, you have too much Kool-Aid, man.
nah, that's not
That's
so,
the
so like this is impressive because you are not just a fun artist getting together event. You're actually an actual networking event where you have industry people coming in and seeing the talent that's there to be able to use for their project.
Yep. I mean, and that's what it is because, you know, the difference between the short films and the feature films is, you know, collaboration and the financial resources, right? One of the biggest hurdles in animation and gaming is the you can build something on a small level, but to do something that you see in a feature film or whatever, that's the $200 million or better, you know, budget. And you know, for you to be
What
able to
about
even
the
get
advancement in certain types of AI, right? My
uh,
cousin, Eric Hamilton, has become a leading national expert in AI and using it for different types of animation. And he just like puts out random videos that he just did within 20 minutes, but they look really cute. Now they're AI, but they
yeah.
really look like wow, they're impressive in terms of animation and what he can do. Are there tools that you're utilizing for for those animation purposes?
Not well. I'm actually still experimenting with that. But one of the things with AI, one, you know, I still with the creative juices and everything, and making sure that we still employ artists. You know, like I'm still balancing that thing, but I'm also using it as a tool to be able to enhance what we're looking to do. But one of the hindrances with AI, and that's probably why you see him doing shorts, is because of the consistency factor, right? You it's hard. It's getting there, but it's hard to do a long feature, you know, with the consistency that you need for animation that would be hand drawn or 3D animated, you know, through the various tools and stuff. But it does, you know, allow you to be able to do certain things at a faster. So you have black background artists that you can, be able to create backgrounds with prompts. You can be able to do those things. I mean, if you want to go real super low budget, you can actually do some voice over work in AI, and be able to have it mimic those things. But I like to use some of those things for presentations and proof of concept. And then from that, be able to work with some funders to be able to, employ artists to be able to, finish out the project, but definitely using it as a tool to enhance your art and your craft and everything.
All right, so we are. I know we're running out of. We're coming toward the end of this
Yep.
particular segment. Are there other things that what else do we need to know about Khem Fest, the Khem Ball? Where is it? Like, where is it located?
Yeah.
Yep. So we're actually in 3 different locations each day. So day 1, the 25th, we're actually at NJIT. We're at NJIT. We're on campus with the college students. Shout out to IGDA, which is the International Game Developers Association, that will be working with our young people, as well as
Nice.
NSBE, NJIT, National Society of Black Engineers, and NJIT EOP, which is the Education Opportunity Program. They are co-sponsoring that facet of the Khem Fest 3-day event. And then
that's really neat.
Yep.
Nice.
And then on Friday, we actually will be at the Temple of Hip Hop, doing the Wakanda Ball. That's on Friday. And then on Saturday, we will be at Cityplex. We'll be at Cityplex 12 Newark on Springfield Avenue. So, and that's where everyone will be able to see the films, of course, attend the marketplace and the panels and workshops that we have planned.
Man, I'm always, every
And
time there's Khem Fest,
that day is geared for everybody.
well, it seems like this is an incredible event. Is it on Sunday? You said Thursday. Is it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Yes, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Only
Okay.
because we found that Sunday is a little more challenging to get people out. They're doing their errands, they're going to church, they're doing all of this stuff. So we kind of made it into the earlier part of the week, especially for those who are probably coming from out of town, out of the country, to be able to, do everything as well as get back to their native country.
Okay. All right. So that's right, because you have people coming up from different places. So what are the countries that are going to be represented at Khem Fest? Because, again, you're bearing all this, right? Like, you have major actors working with you on projects that are there, that it's a networking event, and you're literally getting people who are creative jobs. You're working with NGIT to get and having major sponsors come and network with current students to literally get them jobs in the entertainment field. So you're doing a lot, man. You've got people coming internationally. Talk about this.
Yeah, so we have people come from Ghana. We have South Africa. I actually have to go through the
you have Ghana, South Africa. So it's the International Khem Fest Festival.
Yes. I mean, when I said 15 countries for the African diaspora, that's what we tap it into. I mean, we actually have some.
But you have 15 countries represented here.
Yes.
You say you have 15, 15.
Yes, 15. Yes, coming. But they were, and when I say representing, they submitted their films into the festival. Some of them are actually, have the opportunity to be able to attend. Most of them have not had the opportunity to attend though. So we're working on a virtual aspect so we could be able to have them, tune in virtually. That's our next level with all of this.
Wow.
And,
okay, so
do we have a flyer for this that we can post?
Yes, I believe Rafiza probably in the background probably got something for you guys.
Rafiza, if you got it, make sure you send it so we can post it. We should have.
Let me see. I probably do have that in my.
Huh?
I will probably have that. Okay, cool. And I probably have it in my messages, so I will post it as well. So,
you could definitely go to. Oh, go ahead. You could definitely go to khemfest.com to get all of the information. That's KHEMFEST.com.
Well, thank you very much. And one last question, of course. You've been on our show
Yes.
before. You know what we're going to ask you. Who are you rocking with now? What is the hip hop artist song that is best with Khem Fest? Like, what is your Afro? Do you have Afro-Futurist music?
Oh
Is there
yes.
Afro-Futurist hip hop? Like, what do you got for us?
Well, so for me, I'm still listening to AJ McQueen. I got turned on to this guy. He gives me the Dead Prez, uh, man, most Def Talib Kweli vibes, but a new age version of them, for today time. And listening to some Afro beats from, as far as Tim's and
I like them.
Tyler and then some of the others. But yes, we actually have a DJ that's going to be playing beats by Jay Taylor Productions, who's going to be the DJ for the event. That's going to be playing all of the Afro beats, Afro-Futurism music that's going on during Khem Fest. And we got DJ Fiozzi for the Wakanda Ball, and LMNOP, who's going to be our live band that's going to be playing at the Wakanda Ball as well.
Gotta have
Okay.
some funk and some
Yes.
sun, Rhino, because space is the place.
Oh yes, space is the place.
All right. Well, thank you so much
you.
for
Thank
that.
you for the opportunity.
We've got a little bit of AJ McQueen on here. People don't know, who he is, so just put that up there. And we will see you soon. Thank you. And we definitely we can't wait till the next time to have you on.
Nah, man,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you. Thank you
Yes,
for the
sir.
opportunity to be able to share on your platform, man. You guys are doing
Absolutely.
great work and
Thank you.
keeping the community engaged. So thank you. Thank you for what you do.
Appreciate you, bro.
Well, we appreciate you, man. We appreciate you a lot.
Praise
All
the teacher. Praise the teacher.
Yeah, all right.
Yes, absolutely. All right.
I
Thanks
still,
again,
I,
man.
Thank you,
still, I
everybody.
still disagree with John. I think your heart is in to all this artistic stuff that God gave you as a gift.
It's
The other
both. You can do your heart. He got a big heart. I'm just saying. I've seen the man educate in person. He's phenomenal. He's
I believe he can do that.
like you can. He is an educational leader. Can lead many different ways, and it's training, but it's also talent. Like he is a naturally gifted. Mr. Gifted,
There
Naseed
you go.
Gifted is a gifted
There you go.
educator. Right? It is in his name, and that is who he is. So I appreciate that.
No, man, I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you once again. Take care.
Yep.
Peace.
All right, peace. All right, cool. So in our educational theme,
we got a room full. What we got here?
Oh, absolutely. So we have Saul Gruyan on, and he is one of the most amazing young educators in the entire country. We've got the Phoenix represented. They are from University High School. The speech team, I think, is like 2 years old, right? Like the current iteration. Like you've been there for about 2 years.
Yes, we're going on our third year starting this September. Yeah.
Okay, so you've only been there for 2 years, and you already got at least one national champion. Talk about some of those accolades. Let's start off. Let's do this introduction right. We hopefully will also have Mr. Dennis Filbert on from Central High School. I want to just really big up speech teams in Newark. These kids are phenomenal. Their coaches are phenomenal, right? What they're able to do with the language is moving. Like they could make me cry. Like grown man, I am crying, right? I ain't crying. And then you halfway through their performance and you're like, I ain't crying. Right? I'm not crying. I'm not crying. I promise I'm not crying. Right? Because they are so powerful. Like it's almost like, man, it's gonna make me cry again now. I ain't got no tissue. Right?
So Jonathan, let me ask you a question. So a speech team is not a debate team, it's something different?
Well,
I appreciate that question because some of us didn't have none of that.
Exactly.
That is a great question, right? Because there's speech and debate. A lot of schools have both, right? Speech and debate teams. At Science, we just have a debate team. And actually, some of my people go and debate. Like one of my students debated for, I mean, did speech for university last year. And some of Central's kids, if they want to debate, they do science because sometimes it's very difficult. Like for me, it's difficult for one person to do both, even though it's kind of done and normally all over the country, but doing it great, it's beyond me, right? But Mr. Grion,
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity. So, would you like me to explain what speech is?
yes,
Please,
what is speech?
please.
What
Awesome.
is a speech team?
So, the National Speech and Debate Association is divided into two brackets. So, speech and then debate. So, there's a variety of debate categories, and then there's a variety of speech categories. So, with speech, it's divided into three different segments, right? So, the first one is individual events such as humorous interpretation, dramatic interpretation, or duo interpretation, where you get to work with someone on a dramatic, on a comical, or a serial comic duet. And then you have public addresses, which is original oratory, which is probably one of the most scholarly categories in speech and debate because you have to really find your theme that relates to not just one person, but the entire world. And you implement statistics, you implement anecdotes, you implement life experiences that coincide with the struggling class. And then you also have extemporaneous speaking, which is an amazing category for those who want to really improve their SATs taking skills because you have 30 minutes and you get three topics. Out of the three topics, you take one. And you have 30 minutes to develop a well cohesive, persuasive statement on any political matter that's dogmatic or that's the red topic. And then you'd perform it in 7 minutes and 30 seconds. So in the SATs, you have to read a lot. You have to uh, choose the best answer. But extemporaneous speaking, it keeps you watching the media. It keeps you being consistent with research. So that's extemporaneous and original oratory. And then we have categories like impromptu or improvisational acting, poetry and prose and declamation for our first years. And yeah, that's basically much in a nutshell, what speech is.
Wow.
And so, and just to give some add some layers to it, um, it's leadership training. You have like Oprah Winfrey competed in speech categories, right? You have James Earl Jones who competed in speech in high school. You have
Ketanji Brown.
you Ketanji Brown. But I think she might have done debate or she was speech,
She
but that
actually
might have been both. Might have been both.
she actually did humorous interpretation, which you have to really step out of your comfort zone. And there's videos all over her on YouTube. So yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right. She debated for the Supreme Court justice debated for a legendary coach in Miami Palmetto, and so the things that they're involved in are things that are have been nationally recognized as leadership training for years, right? Like decades, like from the 40s and 50s on. And so they're part of a larger national community. Just like with debate, we're part of a larger national community, travel all over, meet people, but it's a national, vibrant community. It's the same thing with speech. This is a national community that has been used for leadership training for for decades and decades. It's part of it's a part of American culture, right? And these kids are representing the best of it. Tell them about some of the more recent accolades, and tell us about some of those very cool looking kids who are behind you. Tell us about some of these Phoenix, uh, some of these Phoenix, these Phoenix students.
Um, so, well, I would just like to introduce them. This is Lewis, this is Veronica, and I'm Dante Elliott. Um, I've been on the team for about 3 years now. Before I joined speech, I was a singer in University High School, so I've never heard of speech and debate before. But one day I was recruited, scouted by one of the OG seniors on the team before, Malachi Yepes, who played a big part in the team. He told me about the program. He said that I should join and that it would be a good learning experience and opportunities will be presented. So I joined the team. Now this is where it gets a little difficult. So basically, I was thrown into the last chance qualifier tournament, where it's basically where you qualify to nationals. And I did the tournament and ended up placing, I believe, fifth? Fifth out of how many people?
76.
76 people. It was virtual. But I ended up playing fifth out of 76 people, and then I qualified to nationals. But I still didn't know what speech was. You know, I did duo. I did that category. And then I went to NSDA, which is the National Speech and Debate Association, in duo. After going in there,
And duo is what? What? How would you describe duo?
I would describe it as two people working together. You have to have chemistry, you have to be synchronized, and you have to understand what you're doing, like the piece, the literature. So I would describe duo as that. You basically, you're working together and synchronization. You must have chemistry, and you're doing a script of about 10 minutes and 30 seconds of, it could be dramatic, it could be funny, it could be both. So yeah,
it's like a very powerful live acting piece. You're in character and you're telling a story in 10 minutes, but you're acting it out.
Yep.
And the long editions. That's what they are.
Can you show us in 2 minutes? Can you give us an example in 2 minutes?
An example?
But before you get to the example, finish your story. Finish the story they were talking about, and then come back to the example.
So when I went to nationals, I got burned, right? Because I was just thrown into this tournament where I met a lot of people, but I didn't really know these people. I met a lot of strong, important figures in the speech and debate community. When I was thrown into this tournament, I was working with Malachi Yepes in duo, and I didn't make it far, but I learned a lot from it. And after that, I then learned to continue on and be stronger for the next year. So now, in this current season, I am now currently ranked #1 in dramatic interpretation and #1 in duo interpretation. Of course, in the state of New Jersey, I'm sorry. And I couldn't have done it without my coach, of course. I couldn't have done it without my coach.
Congratulations.
Wow.
Cool. So you're a current state champion in 2 different categories? That's nice.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So a little bit about that. So all the high schools that are affiliated with speech and debate in the state of New Jersey is, I believe, over 50 or maybe even up to 70. Dante is #1 in dramatic and in duo interpretation. And this is just his first year, so it's really amazing that.
Wait, you were a freshman or sophomore?
This is his first year?
He was a sophomore.
Wow.
And accumulated.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, and just because people might not know, New Jersey is highly competitive in speech. New Jersey is more competitive in speech than it is in debate, right? Like speech in New Jersey, that's New Jersey, and they have some of the best speech teams in all of the United States, right? Like shout out to Ridge High School, shout out to Elizabeth High School, right? Shout out to Summit High School. Those are some of the best. Shout out to Milburn High School. Those are some of the best speech schools in all of the United States. And duo is one of their babies, right? And you said duo. Which other event?
Dramatic interpretation.
Which one?
Dramatic interpretation.
And DI is the most competitive, right? Like DI is the most competitive in the state of New Jersey, I think, right? From my opinion of what it is in terms of speech events. And duo, I think is a close second runner-up for really competitive. That's the one that everybody knew. Those are the two. You are the sophomore. Those are the 2 awards. Like from my experience in speech and debate, those are 2 of the awards for state championship that everybody wants, right? If you're a speech team, you want to win dramatic interpretation. I think they even at the award ceremony, DI is last, right? Because everybody's waiting to see what's going to happen in DI. So nice, congratulations, man. That is more than just a little impressive. And in your first year,
Let me
Wow.
get to my example so we can see the example of his DI.
Which one would you say?
Oh, we don't mean to put you fully on the spot, but if you
Okay.
can, I mean,
I'll see what I remember because it's been a while.
It's been a while. Okay.
Do it halfway. You can see perfectly.
Yeah.
Let's see.
All right. Way in the water, children. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God said he's gonna trouble the water. Excuse me. Where am I? In heaven? You telling me I actually made it to heaven? Well, with all that shit, I mean, stuff going on down there. One begins to question if such a place really does exist. Would I go back? Hell no. I mean, no. But I do miss my family and my son. What's his name, you ask? Emmett Lewis Till. And don't you ever forget that. Wade in the water. Thank you.
Guys, go trouble the water.
All right.
Now, did you craft that yourself?
No, I'll say I got it from him. He helped me a lot. This is his piece. He created this.
Yeah, so the piece was Emmett Till's story told from his father's perspective, Lewis Till, which we don't really know much about, but
Right.
when I went to Amherst
Mainly,
College,
everybody talks about mom.
yeah.
Mhm.
So I did some research at Amherst College where I went to undergrad after I graduated from Essex Community College. And I did some extensive research and wanted to represent the Harlem Renaissance Night at our school. And I created the script, and the story is told from heaven. So it's a historic fiction from heaven, where the father talks about the struggles of Black man during the Jim Crow law and how he didn't survive it. And he saw his son from heaven being mutilated to death. And then he also saw the process of the civil rights movements. So this is why speech is so important, because it tells stories that are untold and are still yet to be discovered. So I'm very happy that Dante was able to take it as far as he did.
The physical acting should also be noted.
Absolutely.
right.
Yes.
I'm saying
Absolutely.
that as an
Absolutely.
actor, right?
Now,
You started with that lynch, that
Mhm.
right. That's physical acting without saying a word, right?
That's right.
Put you right in it. Excellent, young man. Excellent.
now,
Need
now, Mr. Guyon, and
Yes.
if I'm saying your name incorrectly, please correct me.
No, you said it
Uh,
right.
okay, cool. If now you graduated from a Newark school, right? Or
Yes.
like you did speech for Newark school. What was your high school speech and debate like? Because you coach. I mean, you were a student, and then you graduated from Essex, Amherst, and came back, and you've coached. You've been an assistant coach for years, and you just got your own program 2 years ago. Tell us a little bit about your story.
Oh my goodness. So I went to Barringer High School, and back in during my times, Behringer didn't have the best reputation. But some of the best diamonds are crafted under a lot of pressure, and I really took advantage of the resources there. And speech and debate was one of them, along with robotics and student council and golf and so many others. I did it
And
as an escape outlet.
Behringer's speech team back then was also a nationally competitive speech team that
Yeah,
got state champions. And I just want people to throw that out there. A lot of people didn't know
yes.
that. Who was the coach then?
The coach then was Denise Baskerville, who's known as Denise Baskerville Richardson nowadays, and along
very
with
well.
Miss Gregory
Otherwise known
Williams.
as Antoinette Baskerville Richardson.
That's Tony
Antoinette.
Baskerville. That's right.
That's right.
Tony
That's right.
Baskerville, right.
Yeah. So I did it while I was experiencing homelessness in high school, and it was my escape outlet. It was the one place where I was able to compartmentalize my thoughts and study for the SATs. Where after I graduated, I scored a 2350 in my SATs, solely because I found an outlet where I can let all the emotions that I was experiencing as a homeless kid in Newark.
You scored
wanted to get
2350 while being homeless.
yes.
Wow.
And it's all thanks to this space, the space to be able to tell stories and get things off your chest, because a lot of time we keep it within ourselves and we think it's okay to just smile, but at some point you have to let it out. So crazy enough, after I graduated, I started coaching with Dennis Filbert. So I've always said that one of my wins is like a win for Central, and one of Central's win is a win for me, because I'm literally an extension of all that he's taught me and all that I've been able to research on my own. So, it's crazy because he's my best friend, and we've never seen each other, and we teach our kids that we're not competitive against each other. We're not rivals, but we always feel as one unit, and that's how Newark grows. That's how Newark keeps it real. And that's why their raw emotions and our stories matter, and people believe them. And we have been winning Tournament of Champions. We had a state champion in Poi. We had dual finalists. We had the most finalists in the Tournament of Champions this year. And last year, Central High School had the most Tournament of Champion finalists as well. So it's
and to be clear, right? When they say Tournament of Champions, they are talking about the National High School Tournament of Champions. That is the thing for all of high school debate. The richest, most resourced public and private schools in the country compete at the highest level in the United States. This is not, when he says the National High School Tournament of Champions, it is a big deal, right? Like it is the pinnacle. It is the pinnacle of competition nationally in the activity. So you are going against everybody and every school, and you're talking about like schools, like amazing schools like Bellarmine, amazing school, like they are all competing, right? And for them to get so many finalists and national champions, like multiple years in a row between Mr. Guyon and Mr. Filbert, who are here, right? For them to do that, it's not just a little bit of something. That is absolutely amazing. So, like when we're talking about Newark speech and debate, like people know a lot of stuff that I do, my friends know, but one of the things I really want to keep on doing is highlight that the excellence, it goes all throughout Newark when it comes to speech and debate. Before I want to introduce Dennis Filbert on, because like the cool thing about this is what you just mentioned before, is that you were you were a student of Tony Baskerville, Antoinette Baskerville Richardson, who was a legendary speech coach at Behringer. Multiple state champions. They did well all over the country. A legend in Newark, right? And when he was an assistant coach for Dennis Filbert, who is a legendary coach. He's one of the best speech coaches in the United States and has been for years, right? For many years. He has been just an amazing speech coach, producing alumni after alumni who have done amazing things. So before we jump to Mr. Filbert, can you introduce us to those other fine Phoenix students who are behind you?
Do you want to introduce? I guess I'll start. So
I'm gonna say this is speech. Let him introduce himself, but you're doing it. Go ahead.
You're right. You're right. So hi, my name is Louis Franco, and I remember the first time that I ever knew about speech and debate was actually for my sister that she did debate. I don't know if you remember her, Mr. Austin, but her name was Luisa Franco. You remember her?
Wow. Wow, that's cool. Yes.
Yeah.
But that was a long time ago.
That wasn't a long time. That was like 3-4 years. Ain't been that
Okay,
long.
I'm old now, so time is a little different.
But yeah.
But continue.
But yeah, but that was from the debate side. But from the speech side, I remember the first time that I was introduced to speech was like what Dante said was from Malachi, our former president, which he came up to me and he was like, this is new club named Speech. It's not basically just giving a speech. It's a club that revolutionizes you. It evolves you to, grow and like become a leader and, express yourself. And I like what Mr. G said, which he used speech as a scapegoat. Wasn't that right?
Escape outlet, yeah.
Escape outlet. I remember my first tournament, well, you don't know, but I'll tell you now. My first tournament, I remember I was having a rough time because the day before my grandfather passed away. Yeah, I remember my father, he was like, Luis, ven para casa, mijo, he was telling me like, if you don't think you're able to perform, you can come back home. But I said, you know what, Dad? I got to think of my grandfather. I want to see what can make him proud. And I thought if I were to go to this tournament and, if I were to perform, even though if he didn't got a chance to saw me, he would be proud of that. And, that's what I did. And, thanks to the influence of Mr. G and our speech community I don't like the word community. I like the word family. Thanks to our speech family, they helped me through not only emotionally, but physically. They, cheered my mood back up. And I remember that tournament, I got second place. Now, there have been many ups and downs in my speech career, but the one thing that I like the most is our family. We rise ourselves in university, we like to say we rise from the ashes.
Mm-hmm.
But in our speech family, we like to say we rise, but also build others to rise together.
Okay.
And, that's a very important lesson I learned in speech, that I'm not only competing against them, but we're competing to help each other so we can grow. Yeah.
I was going to say we are running a little bit tighter on time, but
Sorry.
I do want to introduce. No. I mean, don't ever about not for that, not for speaking truth.
Not
But but just to introduce the other person, because I definitely want to highlight the things that Mr. Filbert has done as well, and because and even have him back as well to talk about some of those amazing things at Newark Central High School. So the young woman in the side, who are you? Introduce yourselves very briefly. Tell us a little bit about who you are.
Hello, my name is Belanica Messino. I am a sophomore as of right now, and I found speech through my coach, Mr. Guion. And it's funny because I wasn't interested in speech. I actually didn't know about the activity. I was trying to join debate, but in the midst of trying to find debate, I ended up finding speech. And I think it's a great extracurricular, if not the best one. I have grown a lot. I have learned to be more confident in who I am. And even though at first I didn't want to join the activity, I ended up being the first freshman to break last year.
Okay. All right. And breaking means that you advance to elimination rounds. So that is going to be you are like the future of the team. So it is an honor to meet you. Meet you online formally, right? So I'm sure I've seen you at tournaments plenty of times. And thank you, right? And we are going to
Jonathan, one more time. So, Mr. G, is Dante your name and your name? Say your names again.
Louis Franco.
Monica Messina.
Veronica. Okay. All right.
Okay. All right. So let's introduce Mr. Dennis Filbert. I know that we do not have much time, and we were going to have you back on to talk about things more in totality. But just as a basic introduction, Dennis Filbert is a legend when it comes to coaching. He has coached for well over like 25 years, right? And he has had champion after champion, and his alumni are impressive. His assistant coaches are impressive. His students are impressive, right? He is amazing, right? And they even, right, this year did a documentary film about last year and what they did,
Whoa.
and won an award at the Newark Film Festival. So Mr. Dennis first place at the Newark Film Festival. So Mr. Filbert, talk to us some about this year, what that film was like, and what it was like just seeing that process.
All right, good evening, everyone. It was a good experience. I think what it is that um, we wanted to do something, I guess, to say that to make history and history because I felt that I had students that were able to do both things since no one in Newark public school in the 165 years have ever made the main stage. So we decided to document um, all, all tournament competition from day one, from since July all the way until June, the very last tournament. And
And just for context, when you say the main stage, he means that becoming in the top six at NSDA Nationals. NSDA Nationals is a week-long tournament at the end of the year in June, and it is the largest speech and debate tournament in all of the United States, and no coach from Newark has made the main stage in terms of the top six. The best I have actually ever done was last year when a kid came in seventh and missed the final stage by a ballot or so, right? So that is just amazing in terms of what that feat is. Continue.
so I think we so
Mr. Filbert, your
Boy.
connection is going off. So try to cut off the screen
Video.
and just keep the sound. And Mr. Gifted was having the same problem earlier.
All right, can you hear me?
That's better.
We can hear you very well.
Okay. All right. So the main thing we wanted to do was document it because I felt that something great was going to happen, and we decided to make a documentary because we thought about it in 2019, but COVID happened. So we felt what a way to do it, and I had a great bunch of kids this past year, and we wanted to do something special. So we documented it from day one, and we end up making the main stage, Tournament of Champions, the National Individual Event Tournament of Champions, as well as NCFL. One of the students came in third place in dramatic. And like Mr. Gurion said, he has been my assistant for about 9 years. We've been best friends. So his student as well became the first in the National Catholic Forensic League national champion, and no student from Newark has ever done that. So when it comes to speech, as Mr. Austin said, I've been coaching for 27 years in Newark. I'm a former student of Central High, and I came back and teach here at Central High as well
Seems to be
as coach. So I started as a debater and turned to speech for 4 months, and this is where it's been. Our documentary, we entered the Newark International Film Festival, where there were over 85 countries, over 2,000 films, and we got chosen and nominated, and we won the best documentary by students. So now we've been advised to enter the Sundance Film Festival to see if we could get nominated for an Oscar based on what we did.
Okay.
Wow. Wow.
Nice. So that's what you're in the process of doing now.
Yeah. So today, most likely we are dropping the documentary worldwide so everyone can see. But at the same time, February come along, we are entering the Sundance Film Festival to see if we could get nominated for an Oscar.
Oh,
Is
excellent.
there,
Excellent.
Mr. Filbert, is there a trailer out there that we can see?
Yes, we have the trailer on our Instagram page, which is Central Speak Newark. I'll send it to Mr. Austin so he could send it around.
Yeah, you can put it in the chat. You can put it in the chat as well, but it's called Central
Speak.
Central Speaks. Okay.
Okay.
NWK, that's the Instagram page. And the Instagram is the documentary is called Central Speaking Road to Nationals.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I know that we are a little past time, but Mr. Filbert, we're gonna have to have you back on because we need a longer, more extensive interview so you could talk about a lot of your career and the things that you are accomplishing, as well as update us on this film and this film project. We're gonna see it.
Love to see
We're
it.
gonna do that, and we're gonna do that. Hopefully, we can do that in the next few weeks. Also, good luck because I know that both of you are headed to Yale a week from now to compete at the first tournament of the year. So good luck in the speech competitions. We travel around the country to do the stuff that we need to do, and for everyone to know that Newark has a great speech and debate tradition that goes back 40 years. And we have been putting and investing in these programs for years, and they get benefits, and former students become teachers in both speech and debate. So, and there are other districts watching, there is no better thing that you can invest your money in than speech and debate teams. They will keep giving. They will keep giving over and over and over again, generationally. So,
Well, Jonathan, before Mr. Filbert, Mr. G go, we got to know what they're listening to while they're out there telling everybody about Newark. This is a hip hop political show, so we need everybody to let us know. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Okay, let's do that, but very briefly because we have our next guest on.
Okay, so Mr. Filbert, Mr. G, and Dante, Luis, and Veronica, if you can tell us what hip hop artist, individual or group that you listen to, getting ready to do your speech or debate, when you're getting ready to go on that main stage.
Yeah, like what's your prep music? What's your pump up music? It doesn't have to be appropriate.
Yeah.
In all honesty, it's more like a praise song.
Okay.
Where it is sung by a hip hop artist. She's very well known in the gospel world, and it's called "Something Has to Break."
Mm-hmm. And who's that by?
Pardon?
Who's that by?
Yeah,
we'll look it up.
Is it Essential Worship? Kiara Sherrod?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's an amazing song because break in the speech and debate world means that you advance past the preliminary rounds. But then in the real world, it means like break the chains of bad luck, break the chains of poverty, of depression, and all that, and claim your power, and your energy. So we really go volume max in the car when we're in the national tour.
Okay.
All right, Luis, Dante, Veronica, who are you listening to?
Well, I do listen to some Drake. I listen to him but I also do listen. I also do listen to gospel, and definitely Kiara Shaw's "Something Has to Break." I love it. It's the best way to get my energy up before the
All
Okay.
right. Veronica,
All right.
I'm not really a big hip hop person.
let us know who you're listening to. Anybody.
I like listening to more of like chill songs. I like listening to Frank Ocean. I think it
Okay.
calms my nerves down before a tournament.
All right,
All right.
Luis.
Cool.
Well, for me, I really just listen to beats. Realistically,
Okay.
just like calming beats, because sometimes I can get a very explosive person, or sometimes a very like nervous person. So I like to just listen to calm beats, to calm it down.
Okay. All right. How about you, Mr. Filbert?
To be honest, I don't listen to anything because I usually be focused. And after doing voice with the kids, they usually be focused. So they usually walk around sometimes and just stay focused on what they're doing and not really music. If they have to listen to music, I'll tell you, to be honest, is most of them do listen to gospel music because I listen to it a lot.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
Uh,
y'all got
so
we
I was
listen to
getting ready to say
gospel.
you don't have to be. It doesn't have to be proper because I remember I listened to different things different years depending on who my top debater is. But one year I remember it was "Hit 'Em Up" and by Tupac, and there was another year it was like some songs by Jay-Z, and some. I mean, they don't necessarily have to be appropriate. I won't only say what Jay-Z song it was, but I mean, it is what it is, right? Like when you're invested in that. So, um, so thank you both for
Or it
coming
could
out.
be very appropriate. You can go for either.
Well, I'm an educator. I have to,
Yeah.
keep some propriety there. So,
Well, thank you.
so thank you for coming out, and thank you for being on the show. We need to
Thank
get you
you.
back more often in other aspects as well. So we'll talk later this week. So having both of you back on a more regular basis to talk just about because I know you do a lot of really great stuff in the community, both of you as well. So definitely let's continue these conversations.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here.
And y'all can,
All
as
right,
students
thank
come
you.
back, we know we're gonna see you guys doing great things. Dante, I'm looking forward to see you. We got studios
Yes.
coming, so we know we're gonna
Zoom.
see you.
Okay.
Keep it up.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you. All right, take care. Until next time, we will see you soon. Now, we apologize. We ran a little bit over for this segment, and Zaid, you could do our
And she
introduction.
came on
Uh,
smiling, so she must have been enjoying the conversation. Listen.
And then one of the segues from the previous conversation to what Alia does, and this is the great Alia Berry, somebody who we cherish in this space that we created in Newark called our community based violence intervention ecosystem. She's one of the social workers that really goes in some spaces where we got very few people with her caliber and her character, right? That go in and does what she does. And one of the things I'll let her talk about it, but Aaliyah, if you saw that young man doing his presentation, you also use art therapy and drama with the Village Project, right? But let me just try and frame it this way. Some of y'all know I've always wanted to do a credible messages series called Profiles in Courage, right? And one of the underappreciated realm of credible messages in our work is the role of the healers, right? Is the role of the healers, and you got to be really, really genuine to be a credible healer, right? Because our folks don't, while we're struggling with so much pain and healing from so much harm, you need folks to help you identify why that's so important. And this, Aaliyah has been hugely exceptional in that regard. And she's got stuff coming up, right? So I said, and I know it's probably been a good while since we've had you on, Aaliyah, but we definitely wanted to get you in the space and to lift up what you're doing, right? The Village Healing Project. Seeds and berries. Now, let me say this also. Seeds and berries ain't enough because she done had her own podcast called the sidewalk social worker, the sidewalk, the street healer. We love that, right? Because that's where all the action and the drama is taking place, right? And that's where credibility is built in a very real way. But Leah, before you tell us about the Village Project, right? Well, in the language of your generation and those younger than me, why don't you tell us your origin story? This healing work is tough work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What brought you to this line of work and this character, this particular walk within this line of work? Because it is indeed very demanding, and you know, and the spaces that you've developed and why you're so committed.
Yeah. So thank you. And yes, I was enjoying from the backstage room of the virtual, digital, whatever, wherever I was sitting. But I thoroughly enjoyed those young people. Like I love our greatness and our excellence. Like yeah, that was good stuff to me. And I also just want to thank like y'all for this platform. I mean, as long as it's been going on, I tune in and be inspired by you know, the conversations that y'all have, and like this platform is righteous and honorable, and I appreciate just a little bit of space to talk about my work. And so thank you for having me. So yeah, Alia Berry, I'm a community-based social worker here in Newark, and I'll say like what I do, but then Baba Zahid, I will then say like the why of it all. But essentially, yeah, I'm a community-based social worker, and what that means to me is definitely that it is not a 9-to-5. It is not within the four walls of an agency. It is doing healing work and serving in such a way that I find myself on, you know, in baby showers and graduations, unfortunately, in funerals and sentencing hearings, you know, at red lights and sidewalk goal setting, like Baba Zahid says. So it is definitely community based. It is not 9-to-5, Monday through Friday. I'm also an organizer and have been in this city for 25 years. And so I have, you know, experience from ages 0 to 75 years old over the course of 25 years. And that is including daycares and group homes. I used to be a special ed teacher, shelters, correctional facilities, a whole bunch of different places doing a bunch of different things. And I also do Heal the Healers work. So as Zaid said, like we need to carry our work, and healers definitely need to be supported as well. And so kind of when it comes to the violence intervention ecosystem, like my lane is supporting individuals before, during, and after incarceration to heal the emotional roots of violence is pretty much my lane, where I do that literally on the sidewalk before the incarceration, before, you know, whether that is kids that I've known in schools or programs or whatever, but like the sidewalk. I also write reports for court to compel the court to understand trauma as a mitigating factor when it comes to not waiving juveniles up to adult court, as well as sentence reductions.
Let me just stop you because that is a big.
How do I see y'all? Because I can't see faces.
Oh, we hear you fine.
I know.
Okay, we went to a big screen so we can have all eyes on you, Leah, because it's about you right now.
What you just said.
Yeah, when you kicking it, we just want everyone to see you. We here.
Right, that's right.
You're talking not just to us. You're talking to everybody else, so they need to see you too.
No problem. No problem.
That particular point, because Jersey is, you know, one of the most infamous long sentencing incarceration states in the country, and one of the things that they're especially harmful at and have been for a long time is aging Black and brown kids up to do long bids.
Yes, waivers.
That point was important. I want you to put a highlight in that point. Go ahead, continue.
And Leah, just let me say, as you finish, you know, my brother's friend, he used to work under Sharp James in the city of Newark, and he started writing a program, and he thought that reentry should start at Green Street, right there, not when they're coming out. They should start the minute they get there. And I have to tell you, social worker, my mother was a social worker for Essex County Welfare, but I have to tell you, she, when she went out to school through Keene and everything, she went through a program called Project Deep. So her training probably started when she was receiving assistance, which enabled her to go back to school. But I would come home and my mother, like you said, you had me, it's not a 9-to-5 job. My mother, I would come home, people would be sitting at the table or sometimes in the bathtub. Donna, go get them some clothes. We need to help this person. She would do it on the weekends. And at that time, she was down on Broad Street across from Symphony Hall. It was like, I say, it's so good to hear you say that, but I can remember it was like a room full of social workers who would take their files home, who would talk to the, they carried this caseload with them on their heart. And they saw these people through from to the beginning to the end. So to hear you, it's a hard thing. It's a very challenging job. So thank you, sis.
And look where you're at, right? So it's no surprise that her legacy got you here. You know what I mean? Like, you know. So I'm not surprised to hear you was raised by a street social worker, home, but it's definitely not. And then to your point about her being raised by community, like I've been doing this 25 years, so people are like, well, how old is she, right? Like I'm 41, right? And the community raised me in this work first. Like, and then I got my master's in 2016, right? Like in social work. But I was a teacher. I had a journey, right? I started in Newark as a younger person, you know, like over the age of 18, but younger person, still not necessarily fully Miss Berry, you know? And so my own experiences with that, but like the community raised me in this work. And then I got formal education, which like put names and words on the stuff that my gut was already telling me. I was like, I've been doing that at Broad Market for 10 years, but it had a name like CBT or whatever. Like, I don't know, but I've been doing CBT on the sidewalk, you know? So school definitely like formalized what community had already put in me. And yes, Bazaid, in regards to the waivers, like the disproportionality of waivers, especially not just, I mean, yes, New Jersey, but across the counties, like the amount of waivers that come out of particular counties and then like one a year in other counties is not, it's not subtle. I'll just say that. But the juvenile court is coming along, like if slowly, but surely coming along and understanding trauma and how trauma behaviorally manifests into, to be official, and you know, I'm bi-dialectical, but like to understand how it can become criminality. Trauma, there's correlations between these things, and for the court to understand that, and to understand what long-term incarceration and how it exacerbates the issue at hand, and upon release, like folks can, you know, be worse, you know, if you incarcerate them for longer. So what I do is in that work, I have conversations, I build rapport very quickly, and I translate people's stories onto paper in very official words that courts understand. And so that work is very important to me. I don't speak about it often in public, but when we say I heal emotional roots of violence before, during, and after incarceration, I used to skip over court. Because I want to know parts of it. I want to know parts of court, but this work, you know, I was pulled in a couple years ago and it's important. And then I work, you know, in a local correctional facility for the last 10 years. Like I was there last night. I worked there part-time for 10 years and running healing spaces in the correctional facility. And then I do reentry work. So yes, I'm gonna shout you out, Principal Kafele, because yes, time goes too fast. But so I have built some reentry programs. I have worked for some reentry programs, and so that is the after incarceration, what it kind of looks like. But yes, to Principal Kafele's point, that means we were in Plainfield. That was my first summer. That was my first job, pretty much ever, and I was a summer camp counselor in Plainfield Boys and Girls Club. And I asked Principal Kafele, that was like 2002, I think, and I asked him to come and speak to my campers. And that's how I met him, and we've obviously been connected ever since, and now he is America's principal, and we are so proud of him. But yes, so that's pretty much like kind of,
and we're proud of you because you as good, your camp counselor, you are destined to do. Oh my gosh.
I wear summer camp like stripes. Okay, I did 13 summers of summer camp. Summer camp is hard work, but
and even to your point, was I was talking about the theater or teaching. You know, I always say something about arts and sports. It often reaches the unreachable. And I know New York had talked about it a lot over the summer. They were doing programs, and they had grant for reentry, getting persons that have been, in the system and everything, and using reentry as a way to help them as they come back and become returning citizens and everything. So I think art is, and there's a movie out there called Sing Sing that kind of highlights
Yes.
that as well. Yeah.
People have mentioned that to me and I need to get on it. Yes. Thank you for saying that again. So as my work, like that's been my work. And like I said, the more healing work I do, to your original question, Saeed, is like the more the healing work I do on myself, the more I am understanding what brought me to this work. Like I know a lot of people have that answer like prepared and they're like, yeah, what brought me to this work is blah, 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 blah. But like I needed to do work to even now connect and understand like why I am drawn to those found on both sides of harm. Eventually my work evolved from only those who have caused violence, right, before, during, and after incarceration, and it evolved reluctantly. I'm not gonna lie. Like to do work on both sides of violence kind of messes with your head. It's not, and it's hard. And so I was kind of resistant at first, but like several years ago, it kind of came to my doorstep. Like at this point, I serve both sides of violence. I serve moms who have lost their children in gun violence. I do one-on-one therapy with an elder caught in the crossfire, right? Like then also going to the correctional facility and talking to them, right? Like doing, both sides is the work now, which is kind of what brought me to the nonprofit. So I'll stop there. I don't know, Saeed, in which direction you want to go, but
so let's in a few minutes we've got left, let's now tell the Village Revival Project story.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, in 2020, I was, shout out to Newark Community Street Team. I was in their Public Safety Roundtable, which still goes on now every other Tuesday. If you want to get into
coming up this Tuesday at 10 o'clock, live on Facebook, Newark Community Street Team.
Shout out to them, right? So it was a meeting in around 2020, and a resident came into the meeting, and I'm gonna be graphic, so just trauma, be informed, trauma now. She came into the meeting and she asked who she should call to remove brain matter from the sidewalk. And the space answered the question, the 800 number, like answered whatever the question was. But I was so disturbed that we were even having this conversation, I brought it to the correctional facility that night. And I was like, look, y'all, like, and obviously they weren't responsible for what she found, right? But like, I was in a community meeting today and we were talking about, brains on the sidewalk, and like, this is not okay. And like all the people that walked by that, like the young people, the families, even people, that are outside, like everybody was traumatized by that. And like, this is not okay. And I kind of came in with a posture of accountability. Now I had already been working with them, so they knew I wasn't judging them. I was already coming with love, but I was coming with a piece of accountability. And they were immediately empathetic. They were shocked. They were not aware of what is often left behind, a tunnel vision moment, and so we had some real conversations about empathy and like within community. That conversation then went into the first time they saw that on the sidewalk, though. And if you saw that on the sidewalk when you were 6 years old, then you made decisions for your life to keep you safe. Right. And that was like, I just don't want to be him. And in the power dynamic, when I'm watching from the proverbial porch, this guy has the girls and the money, and he's sending me to the corner store with $20 and letting me keep the change. Right. Like, I'd rather be him than him on the sidewalk. Right. And so like, it was trauma that often like pushes folks off the proverbial porch when we say hop off the porch into the street lifestyle. Right. And so then they did healing work. But that night I found that I was the middleman, and I was like, these two groups need to talk to each other. Like, I want to remove myself from the middle, and I want to bring those who have caused violence and their surrounding communities together to have dialogue so that they can, and because it's really a cyclical dynamic of violence. So the Village Revival Project was born. It is grounded in the proverb, the child not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. And I know probably this room knows that proverb, but again, the child not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so at a certain point, right, folks are being traumatized. It does behaviorally manifest into burning behavior. Looking for warmth, which is just unmet needs. I want to be loved. I want to be accepted. I want to belong. Say again, Zaid.
I want to be seen.
Yeah, I want to be seen. I want to be safe. I just don't want to die out here, Miss Berry. Like, and we all feel that we don't want to die out here. We all feel like we want to be loved, right? And so the warmth that folks are looking for is valid. It's the burning that is the issue. And burning, by the way, is not only violent. Burning is also crossing the street when we see someone coming. It's cutting somebody off in a staff meeting, right? It's being mean to a coworker. It's being passive aggressive. Like, burning is not only shooting somebody, right? Like, burning behavior is burning behavior. And the embrace, how we define village, is our homes, our schools, our neighborhoods. Folks were traumatized in those spaces, and hurt people. Those who have caused violence aren't coming from another neighbor, like Short Hills, and coming here.
Right.
Our families, our friends, our boyfriends, our girlfriend, like, they're our community members, and we collectively rejected them and pushed them to the margins because they're bad kids. So people have told me I wasn't even allowed to play with my own cousins because I was a bad kid. And I'm getting kicked out of kindergarten. So the schools rejected them, home rejected them, neighborhoods rejected them in this like collective sense. And so then what do? I go play with the other bad kids. Where do you think gang culture comes from? Right. So, but that only exacerbates the problem because then we dehumanize each other. And we don't.
3 o'clock detention room, huh? That 3 o'clock detention room was the first gang, probably.
Probably. And the way you feel when you're rejected in that way. But then what ends up happening is we dehumanize each other because community doesn't want to be harmed. We don't want to see brains on the sidewalk.
Right.
Totally understandable that community is like, look, I don't like violence. Violence makes me scared. Violence takes my power. Violence is not okay. But I don't know how to fix them. So let's throw them under the jail, right? But like, that's not necessarily correcting anything. And then this us versus them divide comes and we don't even see them and they don't see us either because, oh, Miss Berry, I didn't hurt her. I just took her car. No, right? Like, no, you hurt her. She couldn't sit at a red light for a year after that, right? But like, we dehumanize each other in a way. So the Village Revival Project humanizes the relationship between these two groups. And that's pretty much like our mission. And then we're building for social cohesion. We're trying to build these two groups to social cohesion. And then we use art, performance and visual art to do so. So.
And then you've got things coming up. You've got a fundraiser coming up. You got cohorts coming up. Let's sum that up with a few minutes we got left.
Okay, so yes, we have finally, after like years of building infrastructure and language and figuring out all of this, I'm looking at this, sorry. We did finally get a small prudential grant to be able to finally run our programming. So we're doing that in October, and that's like really exciting. And so with that, we are doing our first fundraiser just to be able to, purchase art supplies and staffing costs. Our participants receive stipends for the programming. And so our esteemed board treasurer, Jordan Costa, which is a mutual colleague of ours. So she is hosting this fundraiser, which is a trauma-informed boxing event. Like the way that our bodies hold stress and the way that our bodies hold emotions, like boxing is a stress, physical, somatic healing method. And so that's how it's being taught. It's not being taught like a less lethal form of violence. We're not like just be like, yeah, just fight it out. No, we're teaching boxing because it's a somatic healing method.
Let me stop you for a second. I got to stop you for a second because I want you to realize something that you probably don't realize.
Yeah.
Two of us on these screens have boxing backgrounds.
Okay, I did not realize.
So as old school fighters, many of us, that sounds wild as hell, right? Ed was great fighter, you know. I got my XP, all of that, right?
Yeah.
I'll explain that. You gotta explain that.
I mean, I did do a little bit of boxing as a child, but like, so I kind of understand about like being able to essentially release your stress through your hands, so it's not necessarily the fact that it's on someone's face. It's more so that you are releasing the power that's stuck up in your body out through your hands. And exercise. I mean, essentially boxing is exercise as well. So it's somatic healing in the way that boxing releases stress and pain and pent up trauma within our bodies. And like I said, we had to heavily brand that way because no Village Revival Project's not like out here like, we're going to teach you how to fight instead of kill each other, you know. No, but yeah, it's a trauma-informed boxing. And so we have it for ages 8 and up. So like youth can come, families can come. And we have two, there's a femme boxing instructor and then pro se boxing. They're both instructors that have donated their services to us. We have DJs, we have raffles, we have a childcare room. So if you want to like shop at the vendors, but you want to drop your child off in a safe, beautiful place, we got that. I'm going to be doing a grounding workshop that will be art based and looking at like body wellness. And so, yeah, so you can buy a ticket, you can sponsor a youth, you can donate to the Village Revival Project, even if you just can't come and you just want to donate to the work we're doing. You can follow us on social media, both Instagram and Facebook. And you can also contact me just to like get involved because we're always looking for volunteers, which we call revivalists.
And you have a flyer, Alia?
Yes. So
I was put on the all politics. Okay.
Yes.
And I don't know if you've seen two things. One person asked, did you participate in Upward Bound?
That's partial.
Because her daughter was looking at it and she said you look familiar. Are you a member? Did you participate in Upward Bound?
No, I did attend Rutgers for my social work program, but I did not attend that program. So I don't know why I look familiar, but maybe. And then
say that proverb again, yes.
The child not embraced by the village, which again we define as homeschool neighborhood. The child not embraced by the village will burn it down. Its warmth. Yes. And so the flyer is going to be in the chat, but just for verbal, no, it's in Westside Park at the Westside Community Center as sponsor supported by United Community Corporation. So that's at 600 South 17th Street. This Sunday, day after tomorrow, September 14 from 2 to 6 p.m. We have sponsors, so like if you the tickets are $20 for the boxing workshop, but we also have some sponsorships as well. So first X number that come in can have the boxing workshop, and you can just come for vendors and food and grounding workshops and music and all of that.
And for community, listen.
Fellowship, like just being with people before COVID comes back for real. No, I'm just kidding.
Listen, it's here for real. But Lee, I know you heard while you were sitting in waiting room that this is a hip hop political show.
Yes, ma'am.
And while we're discussing what's going on, we know that you have to prepare to do the work and mentally prepare. So we ask everybody, what hip hop artist, individual, or group do you listen to when you're preparing to do, whether it is write a paper, put a program together, get ready to speak to somebody? Who is it that you're listening to that's inspiring you?
So at this point in my own personal journey, and I heard them answer the same question, I have gotten to mostly gospel music. And then I was like, are they going to be allowed to give that? But they were. So Cobb Get Up is an example of when y'all said like get pumped in the car, then that would be one. But a hip hop artist that has driven this work at the Village Revival Project. His name is Amir Suleiman, and he's a spoken word artist from Harlem. And he put his spoken word to music. So his album is called Thief in the Night. And there's a song on there called Brother. And that song very much deeply inspired me because it's a dialogue between those who have violence, where community, we probably should have loved them a bit better, but also the perspective of community. And I've been playing that behind the wall for 8-9 years now. And I do play that song to ground me in this work and the importance of this work. And he's super dope. Like, he's radical and conscious, and like Amir Suleiman, super dope.
Amir Suleiman?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we definitely want to thank you. We appreciate you coming on and taking time for the show. We definitely got to have you back, to talk about what's going on. But I'm, and especially to delve a little bit more into, how folks who are not dealing with trauma, how that can turn into other things. And then, maybe talk a little bit more about, how you're communicating that to the courts, right? Because I think that, that's one area where, judges are not readily aware of the emotional conditions, right, of the people that are in front of them sometimes. And sometimes the attorneys or the defense attorneys who are representing these people don't often tell their story. So we want to have you back, maybe to talk about it, because as you know, most of these kids are not able to get private attorneys, so they have public defenders who don't really do that good of a job. So I'd love to have you come back, and maybe we can talk more about that.
Sure.
Did you know the judge in Newark that did the community court? But she's out speaking.
I know that movement from Judge Pratt. Yes,
Judge Pratt. Yes,
she supports the Village Revival Project as well. So Judge Pratt too.
Alia, one of the spaces that the New Jersey Public Defender's Office is going into is what we call holistic defense. Right?
Yes,
space for us, another space for us to enter, right? To help our kids going into the system, because they need that help. So just put a pin in that. We can come back to that on a number of fronts.
Yes,
great to have you.
Thank you, y'all. I appreciate it, and the great, wonderful, beautiful Dr. Monique Swift. I'm a away.
It's good seeing you, sis. How you feeling?
Me too. I'm good. I'm
me up here snapping and clapping.
I appreciate you. So I'm gonna move out the way. I'm gonna stay tuned though, because I want to hear what Dr. Swift has to say.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You as well. All right. Hey.
To my dear queen, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. So good to see everyone.
Our Muslim greetings, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Baba Zaid, good to see you. It's been too long.
Yeah, it's for real. But we're still, we on our post.
Yes,
we're on our post, queen. And I don't know if you heard me frame the conversation in introducing Alia, and I'll come back to it just to frame ours, right?
Okay.
Both of you are just incredible healers in the difficult work of healing, and you both play and occupy hugely important spaces in our Newark community violence intervention ecosystem and whatnot. And for all of its love, passion, and good feeling, there's also a lot. It's heavy stuff. Absolutely. Right? And we also in a community that is so overwhelmed with the harm of trauma and the harm of white supremacy, is that we don't know how to navigate this stuff, and it's this thing called only crazy people need that stuff, called healing and whatnot, right. And you have been on this walk for a minute. You've been a model in how you've been on this walk in your minutes, right? I have to, full disclosure, I got to share that a space that we shared together is a very difficult space. We had a program called Trauma to Trust, where we got police officers in with community and carrying a whole lot of trauma and trying to have conversations about that are honest, real, and very hard and very necessary. And everybody ain't embracing that stuff. Everybody can't read those kind of conversations, right?
Right.
And you've been stellar in that space, right? And I'm extremely proud of all that you've done and all that you do. And most recently, somebody has become the president of the Association of Black Psychologists.
Yes.
I didn't know we had a lot of our people don't know that we got Black people all hooked up like that, right? So you may have to explain some of it, right?
Yes, yes.
But to the point, just to tell your story. How do you get in, how does a nice Muslim girl get caught up in some stuff like this?
Okay. How did I get started in this field? I always had a passion for our youth. That's where I kind of started. I remember back when I was a youth myself, it was New York Rising. I'm originally from New York, and there was a program for what they
I didn't realize that. What part of the city are you from?
Staten Island. If you consider that New York, but it indeed is New York.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
If you in Brooklyn, you'd be like, isn't that in Jersey somewhere? But anyway. But we keep our esteem up. We are part of New York. But they had this program for at-risk youth, which I don't like that language, but that's what it was for, at-risk youth. And so I got my first taste of doing what we do. We took them away for a weekend intensive, and we had circles and ropes courses, and it was really, really great. And then the follow-up to that was that each young person was paired with what they called a committed partner, and I was one of the committed partners. And it was just, I maintained a relationship for quite a while with this young person after that. And we did lose contact, but that was like my first, I think I don't even know, I may have been early in college at that time. So when I was in college, I was on my way to be an educator. I wanted to teach. And so in the process, well, let me clarify that. I did not discover that until a little later on. So I was a major in Africana studies. So here I am, Black Panther, fist in the air, all the African pendants. You know how we did back in the 90s or late 80s, because I graduated in 90. But nonetheless, I'm learning all this. I wanted to go into psychology, but took psych course. I'm like, that was for the birds. I was not interested in psychology. So at some point I discovered I wanted to go into teaching. So I'm doing the New Jersey alternate route program at Rutgers. I was attending at Rutgers. And while I was planning to do that, I hadn't yet graduated, I started substitute teaching. So I was teaching at some high schools and places in New Brunswick, but I also substitute in Newark as well. I substituted at Shabazz. That was an experience. And but in the process of that, I found that I was always gravitating toward the young person who was making the most noise or who wasn't making any noise at all, right? The one who was trying to fade into the background. I was always trying to kind of pull them in and work with them one-on-one. And it was through that experience that I realized that what I really wanted to do was counseling, right? And so that's kind of how it started. Yeah.
So now, I mean, this town has been through a lot. I'm talking about Newark now, and specifically, and we could talk about Staten Island. We can talk about those cities from which we come. But Newark, we went through a lot with violence in this town. It was one of the most feared, and it still has that aura, right? Yeah. One of the most feared cities to live in terms of, violent crime. But some of us got in the streets and some time ago and started shutting some stuff down about this violence. And we put somebody in City Hall that we're very proud of, who went in with a clear idea of developing a trauma-informed community and having a trauma-informed strategy to combat violence from a community-led paradigm. And we have reduced violence in this town to historic lows. But it wasn't easy.
It wasn't easy.
How did you how would you explain that process to somebody, from the lens of a counselor, from the lens of a therapist and a healer, and the place of that in the work?
So it was what I saw happen. It was community, right? It was village that made that happen. And it wasn't somebody who had a really good education who, you know, were getting paid to do something. It was people who loved each other, who loved their community and wanted better for their community, who took their selves, sacrificed time, their bodies, and went out there and raised hell, you know, made some noise around the issues and the problems, and didn't just make noise around issues and problems, but they also were part of solutions. They also were on the scene when murders would happen, when crimes would happen, when injuries were occurring. They were there to put the Band-Aids on, to help rebuild, to help repair, right? It wasn't money that did that, it was love. And so I think that's a really key thing, because we, you know, we put a lot into, you know, these government officials and why don't they do and whatnot, but Newark is a model city in so many ways, but our violence prevention, our violence intervention model is so, it really is cutting edge. It's effective, it has worked. As you said, crime is at an all-time low. So I just reduce it down to love, really. Love and the willingness to make a difference.
And Dr. Monique,
That's me.
I don't know, out of Medgar Evers, on Urban View, they have on Sirius XM, they have a station called Urban View, and they have it's run by Professor one of the leaders, Professor Karen Hunter, who's out of Hunter College, and Dr. Professor Favors from Medgar Evers, and she actually had a psychologist on today, and she was talking about, or quote, or listen to a portion when she was saying, and speaking about what's going on, or the perception of what's going on with National Guard being sent into all of these communities, and with the thought of we're doing it to take crime away and throwing like this money thing, which can't be sustained. But at the end of the day, it's not about, and where there was a budget that took money out of a lot of programs that were going more to programs that help, like anti-violence and things like that. The perception of people saying that versus what we really need, can you just speak a little bit about that? Because one, it can't be sustained. And it's just this false narrative. And I don't know, how do we stay focused on what's important?
Okay, if I kind of understand what you're saying, or what you're asking about, like, you know, you're looking at the news, you see the horrific scenes of people just being, you know, stripped away, taken away from families, taken off the street, and you know, you know, the effort, or it's said that, you know, they're trying to reduce crime and you know, right wrongs, and but we live under the most brutal, bloodthirsty, violent government in, I would say, almost in the world. And some maybe would argue with that, but we live under a very violent, and we have to be, I guess, be able to see behind what's really going on. You know, years ago, it was called urban renewal, or Negro removal, I heard some people say. But to me, it looks like the same thing all over again, just another excuse, another way to push people out and kind of take over spaces where we're not wanted. And so what, and your question was, what should we be focusing on?
Or how do we just get, because to me, like, I'm born late 60s, 67, and I can remember, like I said last week, I remember my mother going back to school to Essex County College and just tagging along with her, and how Essex County went from Clinton to the new building. But it was just semblance of just community. It was a lot of women, and you know, whether it was somebody helping her so that she can be successful in her goals and things like that. But it was definitely community at the end of the day that helped our community on a bigger to be successful. Everybody was helping one another. And like now, I think in the previous, like people don't even know their neighbors now, you know, and before it was like, you know, the art, we really, you know, you hear this, it takes a village. I think that that while that's a pretty significant thing that people say, I knew I grew up in a village because we all helped each other.
And her mother was a social worker. Mother was one of the early social workers that you know, came into those programs that were built out post, you know, civil rights movement, you know, CETA and all of those kind of programs that existed back then, and that was, you know, pioneering to what we're doing. What you're doing now, I ain't got the papers. What you're doing now.
Doing it too. You're doing it too. You and you don't need papers. You think my dad is a social worker, and he was one of the pioneers of the National Association of Black Social Workers.
I wanted to come to that. Let me come to that this way, right? Your dad and I saw we just celebrated the 80th birthday of Wade Nobles. I didn't realize he was that much older than me, right?
Okay, yeah.
You know, pioneering that. Tell everybody that people should know that this thing called psychology and therapy does have a Black lens, and we do have Black folks who do this, and it's all right. How do we explain that to people? And then let's talk about the work of the association.
Sure. So the Association of Black Psychologists, I want to be real clear about one thing about this association. We are not a bunch of psychologists who are Black that formed an organization. That was kind of true at the inception, but that's not who we are today. ABPSI, or Association of Black Psychologists, we pride ourselves in not being Blackface psychologists, but in being psychologists that are rooted in our culture, our way of being. We ground ourselves in traditional African philosophy, African deep thought that guides who and what we are and how we're developing ourselves as psychologists and what we bring to the community as well. And so we have 4 programs that I can share. One of them is so popular. This was a program that we unrolled during COVID as a response to COVID, the Salbona Healing Circles.
Please come to it, please.
Okay, the Salbona Healing Circles. And for those who, what's that?
Salbona, yes.
Salbona, for those who may not know, it is a Zulu term and it means we see you. Right. And so from an African perspective, there's this idea that I don't exist by myself, right? I don't exist in of myself. I am because you are. We are. And so when I say, it wouldn't be I see you, it would be we see you, because when I see you through the lens of my ancestors, those who are my contemporaries, as well as those who are yet unborn. So I am a collective I, right? It's never a singular I. So we see you. Right. And so there's this idea that, you know, when I see you, I bring you into existence. Right. And so that feels real to me. And, you know, one of the things that I associate that with is how, as Black people, often, and I know you've had this experience, at least have seen it, that we get pretty offended if somebody walks by us that we expect to speak to us and they don't speak. Right? Culturally, there is this idea, this retention that it is important to be seen. We have an axiology or a value system that is a member to member, that you and I connecting has value, versus a European axiology that is based on member to object, right? So the more objects that I have, that's what makes me important. That's what makes me who I am, right? And so I have status based on the car that I have in my driveway or how much money I have in my bank account. But that's not true for us. Our status, what's valuable to us, is based on how we connect as people, right? And so it does hurt when you walk by me and I expect you to see me, Salbona, and you don't see me. Right. And so I just wanted to kind of give a little depth to this word of Salbona. And so the Salbona Healing Circles was born during COVID as a response to COVID, when, you know, we were isolated from one another. we were under a lot of pressure. Many of us were, what did you call the workers that had to go out, the essential workers. So we were going through it at that time. And so in response to that, the Association of Black Psychologists got together quickly, and they put together these Cell-Born Healing Circles, which are virtual healing spaces that are by Black people for Black people only. And we come together, and we are each other's medicine in that space, right? It's not about a professional coming and saying the right thing or analyzing you or whatnot. No, it's about us creating a space. And I've facilitated these circles. And when I tell you every circle that I facilitated, both I get something out of it as a facilitator, but I've always hear consistently our participants always feel like, oh, I really needed this. It's validating, it's supportive, it's loving, right? And so those healing circles have gone really far. We're not just here all over the country, but we are in other countries as well now. We have a branch that's going on in Haiti. We're doing some things there, and there have been some circles that have happened on the continent in Africa, but we're about to do some more hopefully regular work in that end. So, you know, and these spaces that we create is open to any Black person, and they are free, right? So that's one of the programs that we have. Another program is school consultation program. And that's something I've tried to kind of connect and get into Newark schools, which I think need it really badly. Our school consultation program is about helping professionals to understand the Black child, right? Culturally, and understand the nuances, the uniqueness of the Black children and how to approach us better. And so this was
Taylor would jump for joy.
Yeah, the first thing I thought was Principal Kafele. Yeah.
That partners with his strategy of going around the country teaching teachers of all backgrounds, including white teachers, on how to teach Black children. Go ahead.
That's right. Yep. And through a cultural lens, right? And our focus, we're not all things to all people. We're focusing exclusively on Black children. And there is uniqueness. We have to understand we are not white people in blackface. That's not who we are. We have our own unique way of vibrating and walking in the world. And you have to approach us with an understanding and a respect for that if you want to extract the gifts and the talents that these children come to the table with. Right? But often we end up suppressing them, and we end up punishing them and stifling the God spirit that is born within these young people. So this program, it focuses on helping professionals, educators, counselors, advocates, whomever, to better understand how to approach our children. And so we are happy to bring that to Newark. Again, I've made some effort to do that. I think it would be amazing knowing the community here in Newark. I think it would have amazing results. That's another one of our programs. We also have a global institute. Our global institute, we're standing it up. We have some things going. Basically, that's our learning management system. Anybody can tune in, and there are some offerings there that are free. And then there are some that you would need to pay for, some that you can get what we call CEs, or continuing education units, for those particular courses. And then we have special series that we would do also. So we're kind of in the process. We've done many things, and we have a library, but we've got some work to do on that. But it is slowly moving forward. And that's something that I do hope in my presidency, I will be able to fully stand up. And so if you want information about, I mean, you name it, African-centered approaches to therapy, if you want to understand, LGBT issues from an African-centered perspective, if you want to understand, it runs the full gamut. So that is something that is it is in the works right now, and functioning at a low level. And then our final national program is called we have a certificate of
Yes,
African.
I just learned about it. Go ahead.
Yes, the certificate of African Black Psychology is our credential that says that you are, and I'm thrilled and happy and proud to be able to say I am certified, to say that we have determined that we, as the authority of Black psychology, African Black psychology, that we have vetted you and determined that you hold the experience, the understanding to hold this certificate that says I am proficient in working with Black people from an African centered perspective.
Now, is that a program for professionals, or can a layperson also participate in that program?
Right now, it's for members. We want to build it out where other people are able to get the credential. But right now, it's for lay people. And there was a point when I heard.
Okay. For lay people. All right.
Yeah. So, but soon to come. I just had a conversation actually earlier today that gives me encouragement to know that we will be poising ourselves to provide something for somebody. If you want to do this work, you are a healer at heart. You don't have to be stamped by, white institutions that says you're okay to do this. That, it takes most of us who are doing this work, we've gone through all of that, and we've almost had to even liberate ourselves, to be honest, from some of that thinking, in order for us to step into a way of working with us that is for us. So, so someone like yourselves who might, in your spirit, in your way, be a healer, right? But you didn't go through the coursework. We are formulating ideas around how to create a portal for that. And to the point, Sister Donna, you were saying earlier about your mom being a social worker, and I mentioned my dad being a social worker, but I was going to the point of my great grandmother who raised my dad, and he would refer to her. She was not a formal social worker, but she was the community social worker. They had a community. They had a village, the way they grew up. And that's who she was in that village. She was the one that everybody came to when they needed advice, when they had issues and problems. And so I'm saying that to say a lot of us just have it in us organically. And we didn't go through that process, and really don't need to go through that process. But there are some things we have to understand about ourselves, though. So
now let me ask you this question. And this is a question that I'm struggling with, as somebody that's got a daughter leading this work, and I see what she carries, and I worry about it daily. You know who I'm talking about. All of y'all know who I'm talking about, right? We have this imbalance, and I'm going to use that for lack of a better word, where in the land of healers amongst us, it is overwhelmingly our sisters and our mothers, right? In the land of pain and suffering from a whole lot of harm, right? Needing all this help, and sometimes in a draining and overbearing way, right? All these young men and not so young men carrying this stuff all the years of what we've been through. One of the things I've been trying to figure out how to do is how to inspire those of our men, young and not so young, who have come back from the spaces of harm, incarceration and so forth, right? To dare to take the next step and train up and join the ranks of the healers, right? And I mean that professionally, so they can sustain themselves in a way that's, legal and fulfilling, and at the same time really be the embodiment of the help that they needed that they didn't get when they were on the verge of being a part of the harm that got them in trouble. What do we say to brothers like that?
To get them to that space, when you're talking,
fire them up to get to that, to take that next step. Yes,
we say that. To me, OVP is doing a beautiful job in taking people who have had those experiences and helping them, because now they're the credible messengers, right? And they're going out in the communities because they are going with a knowingness, right? They're not going, wagging their finger and talking down. They're going with a spirit of understanding. I am you and you are me. I get you, right? And so when you come to me like that, I hear you, I listen, I can receive you better than somebody coming and looking down on me, trying to tell me what to do. So there's something special about taking people who have had these experiences and some, I must say, not to their own fault, but circumstantial, because we're living in a society, we're living in a country that sets us up for a certain pathway in life, especially our Black men. So no fault to them for having had many of the circumstances that they've had, but some do. You fall into these pathways that are set for us, and you have these experiences, and then society sets it up for the door to be closed on you, and you never to be a healthy part of everyday society again. But then OVP or Brother Zaid or somebody comes along and they're able to salbona, right? They're able to see you, to see the God in you, to see the value in you, to help you understand that you are not your experiences, you are not what happened to you, right? That many of the things that happened were probably not even your fault, that it was designed that way. Yeah, matter of fact, I have it right here. Here's a book by Dr. Trisha Rose. It's called Meta Racism. Great book. I know, Brother Zay, you will like that book. But she's talking about, she does such a beautiful job in looking at circumstances. Trayvon Martin is one of the examples that she looked at. And she shows how Trayvon Martin is not the consequence of wrong place, wrong time. That Trayvon Martin and the interaction between Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin was a systemic design.
Absolutely.
And she just breaks it down so beautifully. And I'm saying that to say, when we see each other, when our brothers come out and they're trying to first of all, we have to want to integrate them back in the community. Many times we just leave them in the margins, right? We've got to pull them back into our community. We got to let them know that they're wanted, that they're loved, right? That they do have a place, that they're not what they're going through. And that was my point, letting them know that what they went through often was the hand of evil, was a consequence of the hand of evil, and not really even their own doing. When you understand that, you develop a critical consciousness that helps you now to be able to, oh, okay, all right, I have worth. I do, I have something to contribute to society. I'm not the consequences of yesterday. So I would go in that direction in talking to our brothers and sisters, because that's the fastest growing population in the prisons, right? Our sisters are going in there too, and they're following that same path, or the path that's been laid for them. So that's kind of the approach that I would have, that, I see you, I need you, we need you.
Yeah, awesome.
Dr. Monique, do you know Principal Kafele?
I know, yes. He doesn't know me. I know him.
Oh, okay. Because in our chat, I put, he does a Saturday platform on Zoom and everything with educators and everything, and everybody can come. So I put that in the chat for you. Tomorrow will be his 281st Saturday that he's been doing nonstop.
5 years, every Saturday, 11 o'clock.
Every Saturday. And so, and everybody, so I sent you the YouTube link for tomorrow. And Rutgers is probably the program educating persons behind the wall are with them going to school. You have many persons that are going on doing their masters behind the wall, coming out and their PhDs, and it's a tremendous program with Rutgers. Returning citizens, and our brother Chino, he has a good program that they meet on Thursday nights down on Prince Street, and they do tremendous. And I know Zaid, you have put up some of the programs that Dr. Monique was talking, because one of our listeners said that she was very interested in the programs that you have been talking about, the circle and so on and so forth. So for our listening audience, if they go back through the chat, Zaid has been listening.
A as in association, B is in black, P is in psychology, S is in, what's the S for?
Well, it's PSI is
.org.
Yeah.
Dr. Monique, do you know Bill Powell?
I don't believe so.
From Maplewood, okay, yeah, a Black psychologist. I know that they had an association in the Maplewood, South Orange area, Dr. Bill Powell. But and it seems like post-COVID, the programs in terms of reaching out virtual, and is there a program like if persons wanting to reach out to you that they can't, can they do it one in person and can they do it virtually?
You're talking about the therapy,
like if they want to utilize you for your like, do you do like one-on-ones and things like that?
Yes, right now all my services are virtual.
Okay.
I'm not seeing anyone in person, but one-on-one, yes. Yeah. And they could you can Google me and my information is out there. It's Dr. Monique Swift. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And is it like pay direct insurance? How would we,
Insurance, I take Blue Cross Blue Shield. I did come out of all my other insurance panels, so that's the only one left that I kept. And I do self-pay as well.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. And we have a Newark teacher on, Jonathan Austin, who's
yes.
Go ahead.
No, I just think the work that you're doing is incredibly important in terms of just giving people the work that the space that they need, because I believe you work with teachers, right, as well, which is everything, because the way in which teachers are stressed, don't have an understanding of so much, right? The way in which you approach it, I think, is life or death essential in that. As a teacher and a professional, the work you do is beyond important.
I agree.
Okay. You go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dr. Muhammad.
Yeah, no, you are a teacher, right, Mr.
Yeah, I'm a teacher and debate coach. Yeah.
And where?
I'm a teacher and debate coach in Newark.
And a debate coach.
Teaching legends.
Yeah. Okay. Was there a question in there? Because I hear you bearing witness to the work.
No question. No question. Just in terms of just saying that you are appreciated.
Oh, wow. And you are appreciated. You're appreciated because it's not easy work. My daughter was going into teaching. My eldest daughter was going into teaching, and she did the what do you call that? Oh, I forget. When you take people just kind of, it's a program. It's escaping me. But nonetheless, she ended up teaching at a really good school in Baltimore, City High. You might be familiar with that school, City High in Baltimore. But she was an excellent teacher. I would visit her school and do talks in her classroom, and I've just gone and watched her teach. And she is organically phenomenal as a teacher. She has a certain way of interacting with young people that is amazing, that really helps to bring things out. That's a gift, being a teacher. But it was the administrative, bureaucratic stuff that made her say, I don't like this. I don't like this. I love teaching, but the system sucks. I'm sorry to say it like that, right? That's the technical word. I'm sorry.
Well, Dr. Muhammad, I don't know if you heard me ask the question. This is a hip hop political show. And one of the questions that we ask all of our guests is that come on to speak to the community, when you're doing the work that you do, whether you're preparing, whatever you're doing, is there a hip hop artist, individual, or group that you listen to in terms of helping you do the work that you do? and whomever you listen to,
Well, I'll just tell you who I like.
Okay.
I can't say I actually listen to them to do the work, to be honest, but one of my, I guess I would say all-time favorites is Rakim. I'm sorry. So.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Rakim.
And I'm old school, so I can rock with them. Eric B and Rakim, they do it for me. They do it for me. Yeah. And also, if you want to turn it up and have some fun, I love Dougie Fresh.
You like who?
Dougie Fresh.
Dougie Fresh. Okay. You want to dance? Well, it's interesting. Mariah Carey, her release for her new album was a little with Rakim and everything. So I don't know if you know that. I was
no, I didn't.
Yeah, I was very surprised. She did it from the make 'em clap to this. It was, she did, but she always does something with a hip hop artist. But yeah.
Okay. So maybe I gotta check that out, sis.
Yeah, so I can never remember the song, but it's her newest release. So
okay, all right. Well,
I hope you get to come back, and don't wait for us to call you. If there's something that you would like to talk to the community about, please reach out and come back. But please, this is a platform that you're always welcome to.
Thank you all for keeping this platform alive and the conversations that happen here that are really sacred. Appreciate you, brother Zaid. The work that you do, I tip my hat to you, and I don't often have an opportunity to say that, but really, much respect. Thank you all.
I got your back. I got your back.
Sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Proud of you, my friend. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you for that. That's excellent. Diery Dumas, are you there?
He's trying to get
him. There he is.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, how are you, beautiful family? Let me just say, appreciate you, and I always do my best to always be on the show. So thank you so much. I appreciate you. I love you. God bless you. And just like Jesus always said, may peace be with you. So I always do my best to support
and
you.
I would say, did we start the conversation if I was getting off and playing Port-au-Prince? Ça passe? What's going on?
So I know that every time that there's something that's going on in Haiti, we call you up. We call you up for conversation because you are very connected, knowing what's going on there and here, and you're part of a community that actively gets involved. You talked about the importance of when we talked earlier. You talked about the importance of understanding and fighting, continuing to fight for democracy in Haiti. What's going on there now?
Well, this is very, very sad because from 2019, I did realize that the country is going from bad to worse. Just like Donna just said in something in Creole, in my country we have a say like "Pita Pitris," later gonna be worse, and this is exactly what is going on now. The gang are taking over almost the capital, and the government can do nothing. So they try to send some military operation down there, like the Kenyan, and then
there were a collection of African countries that went in. How did that go?
Well, very bad. So some people they just want to go against the Kenyan, but I'm trying to tell them, don't do that. Don't do that. You need to understand. They needed 2,500 personnel, so they only got 1,000. The U.S. government used to say they're gonna give them ammunition, they're gonna give them a lot of guns to fight the gangs, which never happened. So for me, it just like another plot to make this mission unsuccessful. This is exactly what happened. And every time the UN Security Council went to say, so we need to come together and send some powerful force down there, and then Russia and China, they band together and then they veto the vote because they don't want to be in the same page with the US. So there's a lot of international things that is going on with Haiti. That's why the country now is in very bad shape. Now they try to make an election. Can you believe that? This is the craziest thing ever, because there is no school, there is no water, there is no security, and then now they said they wanna do the election. So the country is a mess. I'm very sad. And then now they try to send black waters. They try to
Wow.
send those mercenaries, Eric Prince. They said so he gonna take control of the port. He gonna take control of the a institution just like the IRS. So he's gonna be the guy that gonna control the money. Can you imagine that? So he said he gonna control the money, he gonna control everything. But when they asked him, so when do you think you're gonna get rid of the gangs? He said they need a plan for 10 years. He said he
Wow.
need a contract for 10 years to fight the gangs. So people like said, oh, come on, probably like you could make a contract for 1 year, at least like more than 2 years, but 10 years, you are telling us this problem gonna be there for the next 10 years. So a lot of people said no, you need to redo this contract. We are not planning to live with those gang for 10 years. But there is another twist. They burned down my house, child. When I used to live in Haiti, in the capital, my grandfather, he bought a house. My father, it was my father, my mom, and other family. And then guess what? They like 3 months ago, they burned down this house. And I could see my personal stuff, my books. I wrote a book. I wrote multiple book, and then I can see they sent me a video where they burned the house, my personal belongings, the books, and other stuff. They are on the ground. This is a city called Solino. They try to tell the habitat to go back to Solino. Now it's not the government; it's the gangs. They are so powerful. They kick the people out, and then now they tell them, oh no, you can come back. So which is another trap for the people. The people, they live into some camp, which very bad for them. They're getting raped multiple times. They do not have any food. When the government comes in one, and then he said, so I'm gonna send you this, I'm gonna send you that, and then nothing is happening. And from 2019, I'm trying to tell people, so we need to come together, find a way to resolve this problem, and nobody were listening. And now we're having this problem, and there's no way out. For me, there's no way out until the international community come together, and then they said we are going to do something. But if they let the lead to the US to do exactly what we're gonna do, they're gonna start doing something, and then they're not gonna do it, because some people, especially those people right now, they do not want Haiti to be on a good state, because they know the past of Haiti, 1804, it's something they're not gonna let go. And we know what they're saying now about the Asian. But the problem, like, this is the dilemma. They want the Asian people to leave the US, this
Right. The
administration.
mass
But
deportations that are going
yeah,
on
now
in Haiti, they took
yeah,
away
but
temporary protected status.
the irony, now they realize it was their fault that put Haiti into this problem. The Asian, they cannot come back because the gangs got gun and ammunition from the US. All those
Mm.
weapons, they come from the US. They try to put a guy into prison, just one guy, but they never say do nothing to Mateli. They never do anything to other people. So one guy is not the solution. They need to arrest
When
all of those guys that send guns and ammunition to Haiti. Put them into
now
jail.
now
Yes.
now here's a question for you also, and just in terms of your safety. Now, do you say that when they burned your house, do you think that you were specifically targeted because you are a journalist, you are doing independent reporting, there. Part of the reason why we find out what's going on in Haiti often is because of you. And you're not just here. You have your own podcast. You're on other broadcasts. You're on other Haitian language broadcasts, or Creole language broadcasts. Were you targeted specifically in the burning of your house?
No, I do not think so. Honestly, I cannot say I was targeted. Even though they might listen to my podcast, but I'm not that famous, so for them to go specifically against me, but I always like talk against them, and they know that I'm not their fan, because for me, all of those people, they should just be um like, I don't want to be sound like talking stuff, but they need to go somewhere. They need to leave the country, because this is a shame. I always feel ashamed to see my country going into that path. And who's doing the bidding? Asian people. A lot of cities that got under gang control, many times it's the young people. They got no job, no education, and then guess what? They called the gang. They said, so guess what? You can come. I'm gonna tell you what to do, and you're gonna give me power over that land, just like that lady just said. So it's I don't know why, but that the lady before said, if a child is not embraced by the community, this child gonna burn the community down. And like, oh my God, that's exactly what is happening in Haiti. But where they got the guns, where they got those ammunition, they are from the US. And specifically, some Asian people in living into the diaspora, they buying those guns, they send them to Haiti, and the US government just said, oh, guess what? So we can buy guns like bread into the supermarket. So I'm not gonna try to stop them. And it's unfortunate. Again, this is very ironic. Like, this young guy, it just lost his life by I can say by one of his own, because from the information that recently we got, it's a white guy, Mormon guy, and then is a Republican. So it's very unfortunate. So just to tell you, now the country is in a very, very bad place. Now we got nine president, nine guys. Do you know what they do? They fighting each other. They fighting each other over power. This is very sad, and this is why I'm ashamed. I'm not ashamed because I did anything wrong, but to see what other people are doing to the country, to my own country, they completely destroy the country. Probably you don't see some image, especially from Solino, where I used to live. It's like a war zone, just like Iraq or Ukraine. And who did that? Young people that live, the community did not take care of them, or the government did not give them enough resources to live. And then they find some politician, they find some people from the financial sectors that buying guns from the US, sent over there, and then 1+1, and then this is where the country is now. So it's very sad.
Dumas, while United States is not helpful to Haiti right now, are there any other countries? And I know Jonathan said that there were African countries that came, but is
Kenya
there
just backed out, actually.
Okay, go ahead. Is
Yes.
anybody offering, or is it any asylum coming from anywhere?
Yes, a lot of countries want to help Haiti, but they're not friends with the US. There's a group of people who said, so let's go to Russia, let's go to other country, let's go to China, which is not gonna be the solution, because those countries, they do not have democracy, and after 2 or 3 months, so they're gonna say those guys to get out, because Asian people, they are very, very revolutionary. So they love to go to the street, they love to speak their mind. They always gonna go to the street, and then they're gonna say, we don't want those people no more. But Brazil could help, Kenya Now there's more than 1,000 Kenyan in Haiti, but they do not have enough resources to do the job. Kenya could help, but they do not have enough resources to do the job. And since a lot of countries say they're just saying so, this is a plot. The US do not want to help Haiti, and China and Russia, they do not come to the table to find a solution. To send a good powerful force to do this job. Some countries said, "Oh, I'm not gonna go there. I'm gonna stay away because this situation is very volatile." So this is like this is the situation of Haiti. Yes, other country wanna help, but they're not gonna give them enough resources, or they just stay away to see exactly what's going down.
Now, I read something that Kenya was trying to pull out of Haiti? Did they pull out, or are they on the verge of it? Like, what's going on with Kenya right now? Because I know they have troops there; they are underfunded. But I'm trying to make
Mhm.
sense of what I'm actually seeing
Yes,
reported.
they are trying to pull out. Why? Because they do not have enough resources. Because the force was like for 2,000 people. They never got 1,500. They never have those ammunition like guns and bullets from the US, and for those vehicles, so they're not appropriate to do the job, so they feel frustrated after more than 1 year. So the president, William Ruto, said so the community international need to say exactly what they want to do, because some people, they said, oh, the Kenyan came, they didn't do nothing, the Kenyan are frustrated. So there's a lot of figures pointing, so now they are on the edge of leaving. So if they leave, the situation gonna get worse.
Okay. And when it seems like dealing with the United States, especially now, is just fraught with danger. Because, of course, in the Trump administration, it wasn't surprising when their solution was to have Blackwater take over the ports. That does not seem, and to be there for 10 years, that just does not seem like
Blackwater
it
mercenary.
is right. So having mercenaries there
Mhm.
controlling the ports just does not seem like it would be good for the people of Haiti that are supposed to be protected by an international force. Um, it it is it, and when you're talking about Kenya, it seems like they are not getting the support that they need. When you're saying that it seems like there's no solution. What is there some hope that Kenya and other allies of Haiti would be able to do something?
uh, yes, they can do something, but they gonna need for the US to let them do something. Just like every time the UN Council meet, and then they said, so we are moving to do such and such, and then China and Russia, they just veto that. They said, so the US need to take care of this thing. And the president of
Oh, okay.
the,
I did not realize that
yes,
that the United States literally is the United States and China are blocking international help for Haiti.
no, Russia and China, they just blaming the US. They blaming the US. They said, so this is your responsibility. They just playing politic against the US, because they said, oh, all those guns, they are from the US. If you want to do something, you can do it by yourself, because the problem is basically from the US. So this is what's going on intentionally. And the US now, they want to send the case to the OAS, like to the OAS, like organization of the
Organization of African States.
yes, of the OAS, the people from the Latin
Oh,
countries.
Organization of
Right,
Americas.
exactly. So now every time they try to do something, now when they see they cannot do nothing in in the UN, the United Nations, because Russia and China, okay, they said, so okay, let's go to the CARICOM, let's go to the Caribbean countries and the OAS.
Okay. And does that seem like it might be hopeful? working with Caribbean countries and the Central and South American countries?
Yes, but Brazil, Colombia, and Peru, a lot of countries, they can band together and they can send a powerful force down to Haiti. Probably Canada also can help. A lot of countries can help if they try to go to the OAS or to the CARICOM. Yes, they can do that. But what what the US gonna say, or will the US gonna provide enough resources to them? Well, I cannot answer that
Do
question.
they need U.S. sources? Do they need U.S. resources to be able to do it?
Yes, yes, yes. They do need the US resources to do that. Because
And
if they go to the CARICOM or the OAS, they're gonna need the US to vote for positively for the force to go down to Haiti.
okay, so they don't necessarily need the U.S. in terms of money, supplies, military. They need the U.S. to say yes because they're part of the organization as well.
Yes, they're gonna vote. So they're gonna vote for that. And the US basically fund all those organizations, and then if they're gonna have a vote, so they're gonna need the US to vote for this a program or for this mission.
So, is it your opinion that the United States is actually blocking people internationally who want to do something? Like, as in, they don't. If I would think that Colombia, Brazil, major countries in Central, South America, Caribbean that have substantial like militaries that would be able to handle gangs. I mean, they might not be the most formidable militaries in the world, but it seems like they would be formidable enough to be able to deal with gangs. Is that, in your opinion, is that something that they would be able to actually do? And the only problem is that not with the United States giving resources, but with the United States getting out of the way, not blocking it.
Yes. Either way, the United States has to say something, because those institutions, they're not gonna do anything without the United States, because the US is a powerful force, and just like into the mission, like with the Kenyan, they said they're gonna do something, and then they did not do it. Even though if they say so, okay, go ahead, do whatever you can. On the ground, they still have enough power to influence the result or the operation of this mission. So there is no way. So any country will go by themselves without any consent from the United States.
Right. And of course, even Cuba wouldn't be able to do that because the blowback would be too severe.
We're
Yes,
talking about
exactly.
one road doctrine imperialism of the United States, dictating who can do what in the Western Hemisphere. And the United States has always been, from the very emergence of the Haitian Revolution, supremely hostile to any meaningful independent development coming from those descendants of folks who overthrew our ancestors' bondage.
So you have said that there's an international day of peace that you've talked about. You've talked about giving tribute to Donald Payne, and uh, I'm hopefully will be able to do have something at least to recognize that in terms of trying to program for next week. Um, is there Why did you feel it was important to recognize, because you talked to me a few weeks ago and you were like, hey, we need to recognize Donald Payne internationally for the work he did, specifically about Haiti, to try to bring attention to what's going on. Why is it important to do that, especially given what you talked about with the United States?
Well, Donald Payne Senior and Donald Payne Junior, they were very good friends of Haiti, and Donald Payne Junior is one that uh, took great pride, and I love listen to him every time he used to give us the report from the Congress. So I met him 2 or 3 times on the campaign for Alia Berry, the mayor of Hillside. I think she's running. Yes, exactly. She's running for re-election. And also they just rename a park in Hillside in the name of Donald Payne Jr. So this is a congressman that served us, and it was a great friend of Haiti. It's very important to keep his legacy alive, because right now, so a lot of people try to erase our legacy, African American legacy, the Caribbean legacy, Black people legacy. We need to keep fighting, and Donald Payne is someone that is very close to me and to the show and everyone onto this platform. So, and also what he did, he was a guy that was fighting for democracy, human rights, fair election. So into this week, because next week gonna be International Day of Democracy, and then I said I always wanted to do something to remember Donald Payne Jr. and to keep his memory and his legacy alive. And I said, so okay, so if everybody's talking about democracy, human rights, I think Donald Payne is the best example, is the role model, because he gave his life just like his father. So this is amazing. And I don't think there's a lot of people who went into politics and then their son or their daughter follow them, follow their footsteps. So this is an amazing story. And I said, so we need to do something to keep his memory alive.
It seems like
And
it seems like this is connected, because when you're talking about what the United States is doing, like now, trying to have black border there, and that the problem has escalated in terms of gangs, it seems like when there was something, like when the United States seemed to act, or at least appeared to act positively toward Haiti, it was largely with the pushing of the Congressional Black Caucus. Is that why? And one, first, do you think that that is true? That if something is going to happen positive to Haiti, it is the Congressional Black Caucus that has to push that? And secondly, is that connected to the push to have a tribute to Donald Payne, like understanding the importance of the Congressional Black Caucus, very specifically in its advocacy for Haiti? Uh, Mr. Dumas, Diery?
We might have lost him.
Okay. I think we did lose him
Well, I'll just
for now.
Congressman Payne Sr. was definitely known as Mr. Africa, as they used to say. And 2 weeks from now, all roads will lead to DC for the annual Congressional Black Caucus annual legislative conference. And I'm sure, I haven't looked at the agenda yet, that there's going to be, in the spirit of Congressman Payne Sr., on educating on our connection to the continent, and who has picked up the mantle and continue to educate while we're down there, while everybody's down at the annual legislative conference. And I know Elijah Cummings, former congressman of Baltimore, who has gone on to glory, he would do forums every legislative conference on Haiti and what was going on, to keep everybody, to let everybody know what was going on. And we have to continue, to stay. And it's interesting. Justice Sonia Sotomayor was on The View this week.
Okay.
And she just wrote a book, another children's book. And the panel from The View kept asking her questions, and how do you do this, and how do you do this? And her consistent answer was that we have to read, hold on one second. We have to read, we should be reading the decisions that come out of the Supreme Court, and we shouldn't listen to somebody's take on what the decision was. We need to read and know for ourselves, read the dissents, sign up for the to get the decisions, and just as the scripture says, study and show ourselves approved. And every time they would say, how can we, she always went back that you need to read and get yourself informed and engaged on what's going on, especially around
Absolutely.
policy.
Because she writes her decisions so that they can be read by everyone. The latest one was her dissent against the literal constitutional approval of racial profiling.
That's right.
It was so egregious, right? Like we talked about this earlier when the New Jersey state troopers were cited for racial profiling of Black people in terms of traffic stops. What's going on right now is literally this decision said that you could racially profile any Latino, like their race can be used as a factor in stopping them. You have no evidence that they are illegal. You have no evidence that they are undocumented, but they can be stopped. The person they used in the example was stopped. He was asked, "Are you an American?" He was like, "Yes," because he was an American citizen. They were like, "Show me ID." Whoa, that's a violation of his Fourth Amendment and Fifth Amendment, right? And when he did not show him his ID, they slammed him to the ground, right? Intimidated him. He showed ID because he was scared. They never gave him his ID back. And that was the case they took to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court said, it's all right, right? And on top of it all, one of the conservative justices who supported it literally said, if the police use too much force, they can sue. Sue who, right? They have given police immunity and have upheld the types of immunity they have. The Supreme Court says you can sue, but has upheld the type of immunity which makes it impossible to sue police. Like on that decision, ironically, on that decision, even Clarence Thomas said that type of immunity went too far in the case that they had, but even Clarence was overruled on that specific decision, right? It was too that immunity decision was so bad that even Clarence Thomas was like, "Ooh, that was too bad, even for me," right? And that was, but yet that decision a few years back passed, and so when they're giving the decision now, right, a few days ago, which says if the police or ICE use excessive force, then they can get qualified immunity because it's called qualified immunity, right? That they can get qualified, that they can sue. It's like, but y'all just ruled a couple of years ago that qualified immunity was a thing, which means they can't be sued. So what are you saying? Like, are you opening that up now? Are you opening it up to say police can be sued because you wrote that in your majority opinion? Did you just change or overturn it? I don't think so, right? Because they argued that you cannot use race when it comes to affirmative action in colleges. Cannot use it as a factor. As a factor, cannot do it. Discrimination is discrimination. Cannot do it if it is to offer admission to college. Cannot be a factor. But if you're trying to find somebody who's undocumented, sure, man. Like if you're trying to arrest somebody, if you're trying to hurt them, sure, man. Like what must be studied about this election? Because this decision hurts
The
everybody.
Dred
It's not
Scott
just
case.
It's what?
The Dred Scott case.
Right.
This is the legacy of the Dred Scott decision. Heart of which the black man, because he was not a citizen in 1857, has no rights that the white man is bound to respect. 2025, any person non-white who can't prove birthright citizenship
on the spot,
no rights that the white man is bound to respect.
And the wild thing about this, like the wild thing, and I think this needs to be studied. I think people need to really, really like dig in on this. Is that the thing that helped push Trump over the edge was the massive increase in support from first generation Americans. and from the Latino community, which in some places, in some of these swing states, the majority of Latino males voted for him. So you have a large, significant population of Latinos who literally voted for someone who said, y'all could be racially profiled because y'all not real Americans. Like, that's crazy to me, right? Like, black people are like, no, this is us too
That's
racist. This
psychology.
anti-black, can't do it, right? Like, behind black Americans, Jewish Americans were like, no, too much like fascism, can't do it. Like, I think 70% of all Jewish Americans were like, nah, to Trump, can't do it, right? But when you get to people who are literally targeted, were targeted by Trump. If there's anybody who you know Trump didn't like, it was Latinos, right? They said that they are rapists and drug dealers. They send us their worst. I mean, that's a quote. That's how he got into the race, talking about him. He was so racist against Latinos. Black people are like, "Ooh, you racist? How you talk about Latinos like that?" We matter about what he said about Latinos than apparently a lot of Latinos were mad about what he said about them, which is crazy.
That are those Latinos who lean on white colonial, white supremacy orientation. Those who are fair, those who would like to pass, right? And who carry that baggage. Because there was a class divide in Latin America. When they had their slavery, there was their lighter versus their darker. That baggage is real, right? And so some have that, and some don't. And of course, some look just like everybody on this call.
I'm going to give Dr. Stephanie Rivera Baruz a shout out. She's an academic, and she's an academic in Wisconsin, brilliant. And the work she was working on was like pointing out that the only revolution in Central South America that was the only revolution that was a slave revolt was Haiti. And the people who were the colonizers in Haiti, they didn't go back to France. They went to all of those other countries. And part of the mission forward was to make sure that all of the revolutions that would happen would not be slave revolts. It would not be slave led. They would be led by the people who own slaves and property. And it would be more like the United States trying to fight back against people who were colonized. And on that note, we have Mr. Dumas back. I know we're getting ready to close the program, but Mr. Dumas, you were in mid-sentence when you chimed out, and I believe we were talking about the what type of political movement is needed in order for the United States in order to push the United States to do the right thing. Clearly, it seems like this administration would be a no-starter, but what needs to be the basis? Where do we need to start? You are on mute. We cannot hear a word you are saying.
Can't hear you. There you go.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Okay, perfect. So sorry, probably it was the signal. That's why I took my video before, and then the call just dropped. So thank you for having me back. So well, time right now is very difficult. Seriously, I really don't know because this administration they don't care about Haiti. The only way out right now is from the international community like OAS, CARICOM, or the UN, because this administration, the only thing they want to do is just send Eric Prince, which is a good friend of the guy that is over here, and then to make money. It's not looking for a solution. They just want to send some mercenaries making money, and then just send
take over the ports, make sure that you can make money off Haiti. Call it
exactly. Exactly. So now what we can do is to put a lot of pressure. Like just like I love to come, I love to talk with Baba, with a friend. I love to be A1U. So to mobilize the international communities to say enough is enough. At least probably it's gonna take a miracle from this administration, but otherwise it just to mobilize, organize. I just want to shout out Lawrence Ham, a great organizer, and also I would like to shout out Reverend Al Sharpton, because last time, like, I think 2 weeks ago, August 28th, there was a march on Wall Street. It was a very powerful statement, and the mayor Ras Baraka, he had a great speech. So we just keep to mobilize, especially to see what's going on inside of the country, because at any time things can go very bad. So we need to mobilize to make sure this administration know exactly what he's doing, to stop him doing the wrong thing. And a lot of people in Haiti, they really want to work with the US. We are a US ally. We don't want to work with China or Russia, but a lot of people asking for that because they are so desperate from the situation, and there is no hope, there is no help, there is no light, there is nothing hopeful or positive that is coming from this administration. So we need to mobilize, we need to organize, we need to say enough is enough. Unfortunately, 2019, I'm trying to say it, so they need to resolve this problem. And the Biden administration, I have to say that the Biden administration had a chance to save Haiti from the hell. Now Haiti is a it's very bad. It's very bad. Unfortunately, they did not do that. So we need to keep with the question. We need to mobilize, organize, and say Eric Prince cannot go to Haiti for the next 10 years, because we know after 10 years he's gonna take a lot of resources, he's gonna do a lot of damage, and we need to mobilize and say, so we need to have a good plan to save this country, because people inside of Haiti, I don't think they can do nothing for Haiti right now, especially when you have forces outside of the country that are influencing what is going on inside of the country. It's gonna take the Asian diaspora, it's gonna take our borders, or African American borders, it's gonna take a lot of people from the international community to come up with a good plan and to enforce this plan and to say this is the plan that Asian want, because what Asian want right now is security. Security into the street, so children can go to school, so the people can go do their business. The first thing now is security.
Right, and that becomes apparent. We're glad we're going to have you back next week when we try to put together that tribute to Donald Payne. But at the same time, it is really just an acknowledgement of how Black political power within the United States has to also be internationally minded. It has to also think about like Africa, Haiti,
Yes.
internationally, and I think that there's an entire history to it. So next week will be a good conversation, and it will really be about solutions. Hopefully, we'll be able to put together at least a small panel of people to have this type of discussion about Haiti and Black people, Black politicians, Black American politicians, and our obligation in the empire to push for the liberation of our people, not just here in the United States, but around the world.
Yes, we are one. Into this fight, we are one, inside and out of the US, because we are under the same operation. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now we're out of time.
I wanted to ask a question though.
We're out of time. You jump in again. Donna, it's not you, it's him.
Does the Trump administration have a representative that's acting in between, mediating the issues that are going on in Haiti?
Yes, they do have a guy down there, because the last one, guess what? The last one, he used to call the game. he was a friend of the gang, and then when people find that out, and then it was like a big uproar, and then they had to say so no more. So now they have a new guy, and I think he got only 1 or 2 months in Haiti. So he just like to make contact with the politician and to do an assessment. Yes, they do have one guy, but we don't know exactly what he's doing and where the results are coming from.
That's my
And
only
is and clearly he wanted Eric Prince down there, which is crazy
oh,
to have a private mercenary group as the solution that you have, because that's not a solution. But we're gonna continue this next week as we try to get some people on to have this larger discussion about internationally. So thank you for coming on tonight, and
Thank you so
a
much.
special and a special thanks to all of our guests for coming on. Thank you to Naseed Gifted for coming on tonight, and also for Naseed Gifted for coming on tonight. The University High School speech team, and also the Central High School
Mr.
speech team
Filbert,
for
yes,
coming
yeah.
out. Dennis Filbert,
Mhm.
right,
Mhm.
and Saul Gurion for coming out. Also, thank you to social worker Alia Berry for talking about the Village Project, and Dr. Monique Swift, the new president of the Association of Black Psychologists, on their important work, and of course, Diery Dumas, independent journalist, activist on behalf of Haiti. We have to really always get you back on more often to talk about what is going on, not just there, but what is going on in the Haitian community within the United States, especially now. So thank you for coming on. Thank you for this evening. And until next week,
Thank you to
everyone
our
be safe.
audience who stayed engaged from the top all the way to the end. So thank you to our audience.
Absolutely, yes. Thank you. Thank you to the audience. And until next week, good night and be safe.
All right. Bye-bye.